लो जी सर, यूट्यूब भी स्टार्ट हो गई है। साਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ प्यार भरा नमस्कार। सब तो पहला मैं साडे अज दे जो फैकल्टीज हैं, हमारे जो आज के फैकल्टीज हैं अशोक बत्रा जी और आंचल कपूर जी जो हमें ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं मीनवाइल में, तो मैं उनका स्वागत करता हूं चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट एसोसिएशन और वॉइस ऑफ सीए की तरफ से। ये फर्स्ट टाइम हमने सर्टिफिकेट वेबिनार तो बहुत किए हैं, कोर्स तो बहुत किए हैं। ये पहला वेबिनार है जो हम सर्टिफिकेट वेबिनार कर रहे हैं ऑन स्पेसिफिक टॉपिक, मोस्ट इंपोर्टेंट टॉपिक, जिसकी हमें जरूरत पड़ी है आफ्टर इंट्रोडक्शन ऑफ जीएसटी आफ्टर 6 इयर्स। क्योंकि 17 के में जब जीएसटी इंट्रोड्यूस हुआ उसकी स्क्रूटनी लास्ट ईयर से स्टार्ट हुई है, ऑडिट भी मोर और लेस 1-2 साल से स्टार्ट हुए हैं, तभी हमें इसकी इंपॉर्टेंस अराइज हुई है। उसके बाद जो छक्के चौके वो मार रहे हैं, इधर उधर की एडिशनें कर रही हैं, उसके बाद ही हमें अपीलों की भी जरूरत पड़ी है। दैट्स वाई हमने आज का जो टॉपिक रखा है नोटिसेस अंडर जीएसटी, सिक्योरिटी के रिलेटेड, ऑडिट के रिलेटेड जो नोटिसेस आते हैं उसको कैसे हैंडल करना है और उसके बाद अपील पार्ट कैसे हैंडल करना है, वो आंचल कपूर जी हमें बताएंगे। ये तो है आज की हमारी थीम, जो हमने ये सर्टिफिकेट वेबिनार हमने लॉन्च किया है। सर्टिफिकेट जो जिसका सर्टिफिकेट हम देंगे कि अगर आप 3 घंटे अटेंड करोगे तब, अदरवाइज इसका सर्टिफिकेट नहीं मिलेगा। पिछली बार भी 1-2 जनों के मेरे को फोन आए, मैसेज आए कि जी हमने अटेंड किया है, लेकिन उनकी 4.5 घंटे से कम अटेंडेंस थी, तो हमने उनको सर्टिफिकेट नहीं दिए जिन्होंने 3 दिन में 4.5 घंटे से कम अटेंड किया था। क्योंकि वो हमारा लास्ट वाला पार्ट थोड़ा कम था, तो हमने आधे घंटे की रिलैक्सेशन और दे दी थी, क्योंकि अदरवाइज हमने 5 घंटे लिखा था, तो 4.5 घंटे से कम वालों को हमने सर्टिफिकेट नहीं दिए। ऐसे ही आज है। तो मैं सबसे पहले हमारे अशोक बत्रा जी का, जो हमारे गुरु, टैक्स गुरु, जीएसटी गुरु जी हैं, और हमारे कालड़ा जी, ये सभी के गुरु हैं, क्योंकि इन्होंने 4 को, जैसे मैं पिछले सेमिनार में इनको इंट्रोड्यूस कर रहा था कि इन्होंने किताबें कैसे लिख दी। मैं कह जी रात को जब हमें नींद ना आए, जब आप 50 साल से ऊपर हो जाओ, तो घर वाली से डरते हुए आप जाके ड्राइंग रूम में बैठ जाते हैं हम, कि कहीं यार आवाज ना आ जाए, डांट ना पड़ जाए। तो कालड़ा जी का ऑफिस घर में है, ये नीचे जाके किताब लिख देते हैं। तो इन्होंने ऐसे ही रात को जब नींद नहीं आती तो इन्होंने 3-4 किताबें लिख दी हैं। तो ये इनकी सक्सेस का राज है, इनकी दिन और रात की मेहनत है कि जो इन्होंने 4 किताबें लिखी हैं वो भी आज हम लॉन्च करेंगे। और एक हम नई चीज और लॉन्च करेंगे आज। जैसे कि हम देख रहे हैं कि बहुत कुछ चलता है टैक्स ऑडिट पे, नॉलेज भी, सीरी नॉलेज, ये वो। मैंने एक नया कंसेप्ट आज सोचा है कि टैक्स ऑडिट, हालांकि टैक्स ऑडिट में ज्यादा चेंजेस नहीं है, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी इतनी ज्यादा बढ़ गई है कि उसको हम ध्यान से कैसे करें, नंबर 1। नंबर 2, जो 10B फॉर्म है वो इतना ज्यादा कॉम्प्लेक्स हो गया चैरिटेबल इंस्टीट्यूशंस में कि वो असेसमेंट से भी बढ़कर है, और उसमें सारी ड्यूटी एंड रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट के ऊपर डाल दी है कि आपने ये चेक किया कि नहीं, अगर रिलेटेड पार्टी को पेमेंट की है, वेदर इट इज रीजनेबल और नॉट, हाउ ए चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट कैन सर्टिफाई कि रीजनेबल है, एक्सपेंस नहीं है। क्यों? क्योंकि वो असेसमेंट नहीं कर रहा, और एओ का काम हमके ऊपर डाल दिया, और 50 पॉइंटों से ऊपर का वो फॉर्म है, फॉर्म 10B, ड्रैकोनिक फॉर्म है वो। तो उसके कैसे हमने हैंडल करना है, कैसे भरना है, ये बड़े क्वेश्चन हमारे मन में आएंगे। देन आईटीआर के रिलेटेड क्या उनसे कॉलम भरने हैं, देन टैक्स ऑडिट में क्लोज 40 थी, जैसे 44 थी, तो उनको कैसे हैंडल करना है। इन सब के लिए हम एक आज लॉन्च करेंगे सीरीज कि वो मैं मिड में करूंगा बिटवीन 2 स्पीकर, जब हमारा एक स्पीकर का पार्ट कंप्लीट होगा। और कालड़ा जी की बुक भी लॉन्च करेंगे, उसमें कंसेप्ट लेके आ रहे हैं कि हर हफ्ते, जैसे हमारा कॉलेज का पीरियड होता है, हम इस पीरियड में 40 मिनट के लिए मिलेंगे। 20 मिनट में हमारे पैनलिस्ट टॉक इंस्टीट्यूट इनिशिएट किया करेंगे, 20 मिनट में हम क्वेरीज लिया करेंगे, जितने भी हमारे पार्टिसिपेंट होंगे, चाहे अटेंडी होंगे चाहे पार्टिसिपेंट किसी भी वे में होंगे। और फिर जो जितने भी अच्छे टॉप स्पीकर्स हैं, चाहे दीपेंद्र मोहन जी का हम पूरा फुल फ्लेज वेबिनार करवाएंगे 10B पे, संजय अग्रवाल जी का टैक्स ऑडिट पे करवाएंगे, गुरु जी का करवाएंगे। तो इन सब का साथ में वेबिनार भी साथ में करवाएंगे, और ये अलग से चलेगा, और ये 26 सितंबर तक चलेगा कंटिन्यूसली, एवरी मंगलवार, ट्यूसडे। तो ये मैं आज लॉन्च करूंगा। तो ज्यादा टाइम ना लेते हुए सभी पैनलिस्ट का, सभी अटेंडीज का मैं एक बार फिर से स्वागत करता हूं। और अशोक बत्रा जी को वैसे तो इंट्रोडक्शन की जरूरत नहीं है, लेकिन फिर भी मैं बता दूं कि ये भी गुरुओं के गुरु गिरीश ओझा जी के चेले हैं, श्री राम कॉलेज से पास आउट है 1977 में. He is practicing under the name and style of A.K. Batra and Associate, a chartered accountant firm which has established in 1982. He has excellent academic credential and vast exposure in the field of taxation. Obviously, जब से सर्विस टैक्स स्टार्ट हुआ है सर्विस टैक्स में, और जब से जीएसटी रिवैम्प हुआ है तब से जीएसटी में. एंड ही इज डीलिंग एट एवरी लेयर, एवरी स्टेज, मे इट बी असेसमेंट, अपील्स और एडवाइजरी इन द जीएसटी, एंड हैज डिलीवर्ड. जैसे बत्रा सर आप भी गिनने शुरू कर दो, गुरुजी कहते थे आज 2627वां सेमिनार है, तो मेरे ख्याल में इनका भी आज 1001वां या 1020वां सेमिनार बत्रा जी का हो चुका होगा जीएसटी के ऊपर. एंड ही हैज ऑथर्ड मेनी बुक्स, और इनकी बुक मेरे को रिलीज करनी पड़ती है दिल्ली जाके, तो मेरे को सारी बुक्स बत्रा जी की पहुंच जाती है साथ में ही, और हर बार इतनी मोटी होती जाती है. तो मैंने बत्रा जी को कहा है कि अगली बार मैं ना छोटा टैची नहीं ट्रंक लेके आऊंगा, क्योंकि वो 7 किलो है ना, वो उसमें आती नहीं है. तो अगली बार मेरे को ना इसको लेके आना पड़ेगा बड़े टैची में, ट्रंक में, ताकि वो उसको ना मैं चेक इन में दे दिया करूँ. तो और एक इनका रेडी रेकनर आता है, और इसका फायदा ये है कि वो साल में 4 मिल जाते हैं कि 3 महीने बाद रिवाइज हो जाता है. गिरीश ऊजा जी का तो 1 मिलता है, इनके 4 मिल जाते हैं. तो ही हैज ऑथर्ड मेनी बुक्स, और सभी उनको पढ़ते हैं, नॉट ओनली प्रोफेशनल्स, इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट एज वेल एज डिपार्टमेंट आल्सो. तो विद दिस वर्ड्स आई वेलकम, और आंचल जी भी हमारे साथ ज्वाइन कर चुके हैं, और ऑल द अटेंडीज, थैंक यू वेरी मच. आई रिक्वेस्ट बत्रा जी टू स्टार्ट द डेलीब्रेशन सर.
Thank you, Ashwini ji. At the outset, I would like to thank Association and VOCA for providing with this opportunity, wherein I am sharing my views on very two practical aspects, notice and audit by department.
Welcome ji, Sanjay ji.
I welcome Shri Sanjay Agarwal, founder of VOCA, and my younger brother.
इसका कौन सा चीज का, कौन सा बीसीएस वाला है?
मैं क्या करता, मुझे अलाउ ही नहीं कर रहा था
उसमें. अच्छा चलो जी, आपको अलाउड ही नहीं है.
मेरे मैं ही बात करूंगा इसकी.
देखो यूट्यूब लगा लो, उसमें तो लाइव.
कंटिन्यू प्लीज सर, कंटिन्यू.
Okay.
अभी तक चालू नहीं किया लाइव बीसीएस का. कितना?
As Mr. Ashwini Jindal was saying, after 2017, now the time has come when the department has started issuing notices, and even the audits have been started. Friends, in pre-GST era, we have seen assessment in income tax and VAT, and adjudication in excise, service tax and custom. This is what the very first time that in GST, they have combined both assessment as well as the adjudication. Adjudication is being taken care of by section 73 and 74. And we had self-assessment starting from 59. Then 60 is provisional assessment, 61 is scrutiny of return, which is the topic of today. 62 and 63 deals with best judgment assessment in the case of non-filer and unregistered person. And then 64 special circumstances. The problem with adjudication was a demand is being created. You have deposited only 7.5% of the tax amount with the commissioner, and your appeal is being heard. And then you deposit additional 2.5%, and your appeal is heard before the tribunal. So the government was getting only 10% of the tax amount, forget about interest and penalty. And assessee used to get 6 to 7 years because there was no time limit for adjudication. Of course, in GST, they have provided for it. We'll discuss that. So in the meanwhile, assessee also realizes he has no case on merit, and there's a huge demand which is likely to fall on him, coupled with huge interest, because interest was at 18%, and after 5 years, it becomes almost double, whereas the litigation takes more than 5 years. So they dispose of their assets so that the department is not able to recover the amount. Assessment has its own limitations, and realizing that in GST, they have provided for both assessment as well as adjudication. Today's topic, we are confined to only one section, 61, which had only 3 subsections. and Rule 99, which is again having 3 sub-rule only. Because this is one way of ensuring that there is a proper compliance by the supplier. There are audit, that is another way of looking at it. And only yesterday, CBIC chairman has already announced that we are taking up 50,000 cases of audit in GST for financial year 23-24. So this audit is another way. Then there is anti-evasion, DGGI, which we are not going to touch today. So friends, when we talk about this scrutiny of return, this is really interesting, and according to me, it is a very beneficial provision for the supply, for the assessee. In this case, the assessing officer looks after your return and the other information and then point out the deficiencies. In case there are genuine deficiencies, then it is really a golden opportunity for the assessee. He can pay that amount and save penalties and of course interest also, because the interest is payable only till the time of payment. In case this procedure would not have been there and there could have been a show cause notice after 4 or 5 years, the levy could have been much, much more. So let us understand and appreciate this section not only helps the department to recover the tax at the early stage, but also help the supplier or the assessees, wherein they can also correct their mistakes which has happened inadvertently while filing the return or discharging the liability or claiming the refund. Friends, whenever you receive any notice, you must refer to section 160. As I normally say, when you look at the ITC 16 to 21 section, everybody will look at chapter 5. But then 155 is equally important, where the onus has been casted on the person who is claiming the ITC to prove that he is eligible for the same. Similarly, in the case of notices, section 160, which provide protection to the revenue and provides that no assessment, adjudication, notice, appeal, etc. will become invalidated by reason of any mistake, defect, or omission if in substance that notice is correct. Then subsection 2 is very important. You cannot challenge the service of notice if you have already acted upon it. Now, with regard to service of notice, we need to go to section 169, which contains 6 subsections, and the recovery or the service of notice can be done in any one of the mode as provided in that section. So once you have acted upon the notice or any decision has been taken and then you want to challenge the service of notice, that cannot be done. And there is already a Delhi High Court judgment. In this case, the notice was to be issued by the central authorities, but incidentally or wrongly, the notice was issued to the state. The assessee participated in it, order was being passed. And later on, when he went to the consultant, he said, your jurisdiction lies with the central. How the state can pass an order? So High Court said you should have raised the objection at the initial stage. So therefore, my dear friends, if you want to challenge the service of any notice, including ASMT 10, kindly do it at the initial stage itself. Secondly, whenever you find there is a technical flaw, for example, yesterday we have received one DRC 01 where inadvertently, with reference to section 73.5, they have mentioned wrong form ASMT 10. Whether that wrong mention of the form will be fatal to the proceeding or not, we don't know. If it is a substantive non-compliance, if section has been quoted wrongly, for example, in case the penalty is leviable under section 74, they have quoted some other section, then of course that can be fatal. But without realizing whether it is fatal or not, you must raise that objection in response to that notice when you are responding to it, filing your reply. Without prejudice to the above, you can file your rest of the details so that If at a later stage we have to take that defense, we must take that. So now, friends, coming to a very small section, but according to my understanding, because most of the notices are coming there, it is really important to read the language of this section. The proper officer may, it is not mandatory, he may scrutinize the return. He can only scrutinize your return, kindly appreciate. GSTR 1, which is filed in terms of section 37, is only a statement of outward supply, not a return. And related particulars furnished by the registered person. This language is very important. If you look at the audit section, they say information furnished or record maintained by this. Here he has to scrutinize the return and related particulars, which may be in the form of your GSTR 1, GSTR 9C, 9, or the e-way details which you have submitted on the portal. But he can only verify that record which has been furnished by the registered person, not the taxable person. So it is only the registered person which can be subject to 61. In the case of taxable person who is liable to pay tax but is not registered, if he has to seek registration, there are a number of actions which can be taken against him. Maybe 67, maybe 73, maybe 74. But under this section 61, he cannot be served with notice in ASMT 10. Friends, I was emphasizing on the word furnished by the registered dealer, and then with reference to the information available, he can serve you notice in ASMT 10. We cannot ask for any information. My dear friends, kindly appreciate. And I'll read rule 99(1) also, that also support my contention, that no information can be asked for from the supplier till the ASMT 10 is issued. After ASMT 10, if the subject matter has been selected, that discrepancy has been pointed out, he can certainly ask for the information subsequent to that. So it is very, very important to understand. Now I'll read 99(1) also, which also talk about the same thing, where any return furnished by the registered person is selected for scrutiny, then in case of any discrepancy, he shall issue a notice. So discrepancy need to be pointed out before the issuance of ASMT 10. Once that discrepancy is there, which can be n number of reasons, will come to that bit later, then certainly you have to provide him the information which is being asking for. And he has to verify the correctness. The term correctness has been defined by the Supreme Court, which means not only in pith substance, but in proprietary also, that information should be correct. And the right tax has been paid at the right time. That is the important issue. Then comes, he will inform me in ASMT 10. I will get an opportunity and respond to it and give my reply in ASMT 11, either accepting the discrepancy or stating the reason why this discrepancy is not there and he cannot be subject to tax so far as that issue is concerned. Friends, this is the point when I must realize if I have committed a mistake and there has been inadvertent error and there are no defenses available, you must admit and pay the taxes. Otherwise, if the discrepancy pointed out is not as per the provisions of law, you must submit your detailed reply in ASMT 11 why this discrepancy does not result into any demand and why this discrepancy is against the provisions of law and against the facts. If you have done either of these two, either you have accepted the discrepancy and paid the tax interest, or in case you have explained that discrepancy and the proper officer is satisfied, then undoubtedly, certainly, he will serve you ASMT 10 and the proceedings will come to an end. That means the department point out the discrepancy, either you have accepted and paid the tax, or in case you have not accepted, you have explained it, and the proper officer is satisfied with the explanation which has been submitted by you. So therefore, this is all this section is talking about. And Rule 99 is also talking about the same thing, that notice has to be given in ASMT 10. I have to file my reply in ASMT 11. And in case it agrees, then ASMT 12 is to be issued. Suppose doesn't appeal to him, in that case, no demand is being created. The only thing is he will be allowed to take action either under section 65, 66, 67, 73, or 74. We all know 65, we are going to deal today, it is departmental audit. 66 is special audit. 67 is inspection and search. 73 and 74 is issuance of show cause notice, wherein tax has not been paid, has been short paid, erroneous refund has been claimed, or ITC has been wrongly claimed or availed or utilized. If it is due to fraud, suppression of fact, and willful misstatement, then it is 73 which is applicable, otherwise 72. So he can take an action. So from the reading of this section with the rule, these are two very important, three very important issues which has come across. He cannot ask for any information. He has to scrutinize your return, verify with the information furnished by the registered dealer, not the records maintained by him, while complying with the provisions of law. No demand can be created. If you agree with the discrepancy, you have to pay it. Otherwise, you have to explain it in reply. If that reply appeals to the proper officer, then the matter ends and ASMT 12 will be issued. And in case it doesn't happen, then obviously he can take action under section 65, 66, 67, 73, or 74. Now, friends, what are the basic issues on which these notices are being issued? It's a very huge subject. By and large, and mainly, they are mismatch of ITC with reference to your GSTR 3B and credit appearing in Form 2A/2B. Second important issue for which these notices are issued is difference in output tax liability, wherein you have declared turnover in GSTR 1 and your GSTR 3B is showing turnover which is less than GSTR 1. That may be due to genuine reason. While filing the GSTR 1, some figure has been or invoice has been reported incorrectly. In GSTR 3B, you have reported the correct information, etc. So you have to explain it to them. Another important issue for which these notices are being issued is e-way bill. These are in relation to fake invoices. These are otherwise also they are asking for this information. Another important issue is whether you have made payment in terms of second provision to section 16(2), that is within 180 days from the date of supply, and if not, whether you have reversed the credit. Similarly, 17, 18, lot of notices have been served with regard to trans 1. Similarly, notices are being issued while looking at your Form 9 and 9C, wherein certain liability has not been reported properly. and then whether you have reversed the input tax credit in terms of section 17, 18, read with rule 42 and 43. So these are the broad subject. I will take two very important issues on which the notices have been issued. In my humble opinion, more than 70% notices, I'm repeating, 70% notices has been issued for mismatch in ITCs as reported in 2A, 2B vis-a-vis Form 3B. Friends, with regard to this, we all know 2A and 2B was not at all mentioned in any GSTR rule till 9th October 2019 when Rule 36(4) was being introduced. 1718 and 1819 doesn't get covered because Rule 36(4) was introduced only subsequent to that. And for 1718 and 1819, we all know and understand that there is a circular 183 wherein number of discrepancies have been pointed out at their corresponding reply, and where the difference is up to 5 lakh, self-certification by the supplier, where the difference is more than 5 lakh, you have to give a certificate by a chartered accountant. So you can take advantage of that also. Now, coming to certain legal issues, I'll tell you one golden rule. When they are talking about claim of ITC, matching concept is not at all there. If I am satisfying the condition of section 16, there is no doubt I am eligible for the credit. And if I am eligible, even if it is not appearing in 2A or 2B, I must contest it. There can be n number of reasons that item not being appearing in 2A, 2B. Either GSTR 1 has not been submitted by the supplier, or he has submitted the GSTR 1, but forgotten to mention your invoice. The only thing you need to satisfy yourself is, if we are satisfying the condition of 16(2), eligibility is there. Rest, in case we have to pay certain amount under the pressure of the department, we must pay that amount under protest with the right to litigate the matter. Under protest was a term which was being used in excise law in pre-GST era. But here, that concept is not being mentioned in any of the circulars, rules, etc. But yes, we simply can say we are making this payment, we are not admitting the liability with our right to contest the case. So substance is the same, so that must be done with regard to this under protest payment. Now we all understand, so far as legal position is concerned, I would like to refer to the judgment of the Honorable Supreme Court in the case of Bharti, where they have very clearly stated that this 2A, 2B is only a facilitation measure, because the period in dispute before the Honorable Supreme Court was prior to the introduction of Rule 36(4). That was 9th October 2019. So they say it's only a facilitation measure. You have to calculate the output tax liability as per your books of account. And then you have to calculate the credit which is admissible to you as per the provisions of law. And then you have to report those two figures in Form 3B, which initially was an interim measure, but now it is a proper return. Similarly, notices are being issued wherein the supplier RC has been cancelled retrospectively. Friends, now only 2 days down the line, Calcutta High Court has come up in the case of Gargo Traders on 12th June itself, that if at the time of transaction, the supplier was alive and active, then the demand cannot be raised against me simply on the ground that is RC has been cancelled retrospectively. But yes, if other conditions are not being satisfied, it is likely to be disallowed, then it is a different issue altogether. So friends, another point wherein the allegation is being made that the supplier has not paid tax to the department. And this is one of the conditions in 16(2)(c). We always say you cannot expect an assessor to do an impossible task. So therefore, there is already a history of case law in VAT. Kindly see Arise India case, Delhi High Court, which has been affirmed by the Supreme Court. Buying dealer cannot be penalized for the fault committed by the selling dealer is also a settled legal position in pre-GST. Even in GST era, if you look at Madras High Court in the case of DY Beadle, they have clearly said that once the supplier has made the supply and this buyer has bona fide buyer, has paid the tax along with the interest to the supplier, then recovery should be made from the supplier and not from the recipient. We all understand, Honorable Supreme Court in the case of iShare Motor have clearly said credit is as good as the tax paid to the government. And not only that, Article 300 capital A also says it is the property of the assessee and no property can be taken away except with the authority of law. So friends, we were talking about that. Now I'm looking at the question answer so that I can further deliberate keeping these questions in mind. Hello, sir. My first query is regarding notice for tranche 1 credit. Will it covered in this section? Any notice is covered in this section. Then for payment of any notice which can be compared with the return submitted by you. This tranche 1 is also an information given by you. So obviously tranche 1, he can compare the credit with your previous return. And if there is a mismatch or a discrepancy, he can certainly serve notice under this. For payment not made within 180 days clause under section 16(2), second proviso, is interest still leviable under section 51 or 53, if not reversed with it. 53 will come into picture only when ITC has been claimed fraudulently in excess. Here, the question is, because of certain reason, he has not been able to pay the amount. So therefore, 53 will not get retracted. It will be only 51 at which the interest is payable. And let me tell you, there is already a proposed amendment. The interest rate in 51 and 53 both has been made similar to 18%. So it is not going to make much difference on that. Sir, can we view the same on YouTube? I think you can. A dealer took temporary godown for 2 months. Question is not complete. So we'll look at the questions once it is. Yes, sorry. A dealer took temporary godown for 2 months. After expiry of 2 months, the leftover goods are to be shifted back to the main godown. What compliance are required at the time of shifting the goods from temporary? So if they are in the same state and you have taken one registration number, so it can be transferred with delivery challan and proper e-way bill. If SGST tax paid is SGST tax cannot be. If CGST tax, okay, in any transaction, both the taxes are leviable. If it is an intrastate transaction, then both C and S will be leviable. If investigation can be done by any of the authorities, like the center or state, but show cause can be served only by the proper officer with whom you are filing your returns. That means who is your jurisdictional officer. Again, I am repeating, it has already been settled by various judgments of the High Court. Both center and state can do the investigation, but show cause notice will be issued only by the jurisdictional officer, and the other officer who has done the investigation can hand over the material to the jurisdictional officer who can take care of that material while issuing the show cause notice. Then friends, we have been moving further. In Arise India case, a very beautiful proposition has been laid down by the Honorable Court. They said there can be a very bona fide buyer who has made the purchases, received the goods, paid the payment through bank. It is only the seller who is at default. So do we call it a bona fide? Unless otherwise the department doesn't prove that both supplier and recipient have collided hand in hand to defraud the revenue, they cannot deny the ITC to the intending buyer. Again, the same principle, buying dealer cannot be penalized for the fault committed by the selling dealer. Friends, with this, I think we can ask once again. I'll request everybody, in case they have any question on this ASMT 10, they can raise those questions in question answer box. I'll answer that. Otherwise, we'll move to the second topic, that is audit.
Sir, एक तो ये question, hello, my first question is regarding notice for tranche 1 credit.
I have
Will it be
already answered this. First 6 questions have been answered.
ठीक है sir. For payment,
instead of Harshit ji ka hai, sir, can you please repeat the name of case law of Kolkata regarding retrospective cancellation? There are 2 case laws of Calcutta High Court. I was referring to the one which is latest, that has been issued only on 12th of June. I'll repeat, Gargo Motors. Kindly note down, it is Gargo Traders, not Motors. Gargo Traders. This judgment is dated 12th of June. Then another case is LGW Industries Limited and others versus Union of India. This is again Calcutta High Court, 2021, 12 TMI 834 is the citation. Then it says, CGST was wrongly availed in July 2017 and in August, September it was reversed and tax has been paid in SGST with him. You can do it. The only thing is you have to clear that liability. This question is not in relation to the topic for the day, so I will answer it only in the end if the time permits. If notice is received in case of non-availability of ITC in 2A, 2B and supplier has also surrendered their registration or not available and condition, as I have told you, you have to satisfy condition of section 16(2), except the one that the payment has been made by the supplier simply because it is impossible to comply with. Rest of the condition, and I was referring to section 155, which lays down the burden on the person who is claiming the right to prove that he was entitled. Again, I am saying appearance in 2 and 2B is not must, in spite of the fact that 16(2) has been introduced with effect from 1st January 22, where the condition is there that GSTR 1 must be reflected in your GSTR 2B. Still, I agree, and I am firmly of the view that even if 2B is not containing the detail of the credit which you have availed because of any human error at the part of the supplier, still credit cannot be denied to you. Sir, if data mentioned in ASMT 10 has been expired, then how to submit clarification or discrepancy point? ASMT 10 has been expired. What do you mean by expired? He is asking for the discrepancy for the information which is submitted on the department. If it is time barred, then it's a different issue altogether. And as we know, because of the COVID, now the time barred for section 73 is only December 23. And even today, the ASMT 10 can be issued for this 17-18. He has to serve you the notice within 3 months prior to that. So show cause notice can be issued up to September. So he can make an inquiry and serve you the show cause notice. I have not understood. Rajesh, if you are there, you can, when the opportunity will come, you can speak. I don't understand what do you mean by expired. Good afternoon, sir. In one of my cases during the month of July, there was an error in reporting of figure in 3B. The output ability was shown less by 10 lakhs and input tax was also shown less by similar amount. The figure output reported in GST was thus more. So it was correct. Officer is saying to pay the output tax with interest and is significantly the ITC. If it is only arithmetical error and your tax liability stand discharged with the ITC which was appearing in credit ledger, department may be right because according to 2 judgment, one Jharkhand High Court and another Madras High Court, they say unless otherwise that tax is not being appropriated in 3B, that is not being considered the payment. But I don't agree with that view. In my humble opinion, they are not the good judgments. So in case the credit was already available and the amount is huge, because if it is only 1.5 lakh, the interest will be only a couple of thousand, it's not worth litigating it. But wherever the amount is substantial, explanation to section 49 says that the payment of tax to the credit government shall be the date when the payment has been made to the cash ledger. Interest is only for the loss of liquidity. If we can prove there is no loss of liquidity and the payment has already been received by the government, then interest should not be leviable. Sir, what if assessee failed to reply ASMT 10, department started proceeding under 73(1) and issued? Doesn't matter, you have to reply to the show cause notice. In any case, as I told you, ASMT proceedings are beneficial for you. In case you agree, you pay the tax. In any case, if you don't agree, then he has to serve the show cause notice. Unfortunately for you, Ankiji, he is invoking section 73 and not 74. 73 section, the maximum penalty which can be levied is 10% of the tax amount. So I'm sure you're lucky that he is referring to section 73 and not 74. Any time limit for issue of ASMT 12 once ASMT 11 filed? Yes, he can, in case it is optional, it is not mandatory. In case it doesn't issue the ASMT 10, then he has to serve you the show cause notice. Can you please cite the judgment of High Court on adjudication by proper officer only in the case of investigation? I have to look at it. I don't remember that citation. But yes, it is Delhi High Court. Sir, what if assessee fails to reply ASMT department start proceeding? I have already answered that. In one case of 1819, we accepted some discrepancy of payment or made an interest as instructed with the department. All the DSC has been submitted with the department. New has been issued with the department same year after such payment. They again demand the same. It's a good question, Deepika. First of all, let me clarify. If there are 3 issues involved and you accept liability only in 1 or 2 issues, you can do that and you can pay or rectify that discrepancy and pay the tax along with the interest thereon. So the show cause notice can be issued only with regard to the 3rd issue, which you don't agree. So that is one proposition. Secondly, till the things becomes time barred for the issuance of show cause notice, as I told you, the whole procedure does not create a demand against the noticee. It can only lead to issue show cause notice, and show cause notice are being governed and time barred in terms of section 73(10) and 74(10). I have already reported you that for 1718, the time limit is December 23. For 1819, 31st March 24, 1920, 30th June 24. This is the time limit when the adjudication is to be finalized. Show cause notice has to be served 3 months prior to that. That means it has to be served by 30th September 2023, 31st December 2023, and 30th June 2024 in the case of 1718, 1819, 1920. So far as notice under section 74 is concerned, you can add 2 years from the date which is applicable to 73. That means it is December 25, March 26, and June 26. And in this case of show cause notice under section 74, SCN has to be served 6 months prior to the date of adjudication. So SCN under section 74 need to be issued by 30th June 25, 30th September 25, and 31st December 25. Sir, is there a time limit to conclude ASMT 10 in one case? Trans 1 notice was issued 2 years back. Absolutely not. In case the only time limit is for the issuance of show cause notice, which I have already told you in detail. This proceeding may be pending, but in order to ensure that they intend to serve the show cause notice or they want to serve you ASMT 12, you can file a reminder to the proper office. Reply in ASMT 11 filed in financial 1920, financial 78, but order for acceptance of the case still pending. Is it time? Time bar will be 73, 74. Once again, I am repeating. ASMT 12 he has to issue in case he accepts those discrepancy, and in case he has not issued, then he has to take action under section 73 or 74, for which the time limit is there, which I have already explained in detail. Sir, what if a person received GST notice from intelligence and assessing deposit the taxes suo motu with interest, whether penalty can be waived? Yes, it is another good question. If during investigation I realize I am liable to pay the tax and the department doesn't intend to invoke section 74, certainly I can pay the tax and interest, no penalties to be paid if 73 is there. Even if the show cause has been done, even in that case, I can make the payment of tax and interest within 30 days, no penalty to be paid. But if it is 74, they intend to invoke section 74 and they say there is a malified intention, etc., then certainly 15% tax has to be paid as penalty before issuance of show cause notice. After 30 days from the show cause notice, the penalty amount goes up from 15% to 25%. Within 30 days from the date of adjudication, the penalty amount goes up from 25% to 50% of the tax involved. And in case I don't pay that also, and don't follow that time limit up, that is 30 days after adjudication, then it is 100% the tax ought to be evaded under section 74. Under section 73, the maximum penalty is only 10% of the tax. Supplier has shown purchases return credit note in a GST 1 instead of reducing ITC GST, he has increased tax liability instead. If that being so, that is only a clerical error which has no revenue implication. For all these things, you need to only file a reply. If he agrees, fine. Otherwise, accept the notice. I'm sure these procedural things will certainly cannot create any liability. Short payment of tax for, if I keep on going like this, then I'll be answering question only, audit will be left. So I'll take these three questions.
Sir, only relevant लीजिए sir.
Short payment of tax for the previous year 1780 suo motu can be made through DRC 01 or 03 or any other mode, any intimation to his department. Okay, if you want to pay the tax under section 73(5) or 74(5), you can pay the tax and the mode of payment is only DRC 03. What if assessee fails to reply? ASM 10 department start proceeding. I only answered twice this question. Third, same question. Sir, in case you don't reply, don't apply in ASMT 10, ASMT 11, sorry, then department can only take action under section 65, 66, 67, 73, and 74. I'm repeating again at the cost of repetition. They can search you, they can ask for audit, they can ask for special audit, or they can serve you show cause notice under section 73 or 74. Now, friends, we are coming to the second topic of the day, and that topic is audit. Friends, audit is not a new term for chartered accountants. Of course, the audit which was envisaged under the GST law by the chartered accountant has been dispensed with. Now it is only departmental audit. Once the law is based on self-assessment, it becomes one of the important tools in the hands of the department to ensure that the correct tax has been paid at the correct time. Not only that, it instills confidence in the minds of the honest taxpayer and act as a deterrent for the dishonest taxpayers. Its scope has further been increased because the chartered accountant audit under chartered account cost accountant audit has already been dispensed with. This audit is one of the main cause of SCN being issued. When we are talking about audit, then it is audit of record, returns, and documents as defined, and because the term has been defined in section 213, and in that particular subclause, they have used these three words. So the section 35, which deal with the maintenance of accounts and other records, becomes very, very important. What is the process? The process is something like this. There is the Director General of Audit, which has got 7 zonal units in all metros, Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Chennai, etc. Then they go for the policy, and according to that policy, they select the case. The first important thing is selection of cases, in which nowadays even Director General Analytical Risk and Risk Management, Advanced Analytic in Indirect Taxes, and even Business Investigation Intelligence and Fraud Analytics is also playing a very important. So wherever these factors says that this assessee or supplier or registered person, I should say, is of high risk, then the possibility of audit is there. It is not a mandatory provision. As I told you, yesterday only, the CBIC chairman has said we are selecting 50,000 cases for audit in financial year 73-74. The ratio is not too big, looking to the total number of assessees who are registered under the GST law. After selection of cases, they have to form a team who will do the audit. And then after forming the team, they will prepare the audit program looking to the risk parameter on the basis of which the selection of audit has been done. Then a time schedule and information to the assessee that we are coming for the audit, objections being raised, explanation being sought from the assessee, and once not convinced, then finalization of the para and the communication of that para. This is the procedure of government audit. Now we can go to the definition of audit and understand what is the scope of that term. First time I have seen a definition of audit which has been given in the law. It is an exhaustive definition. It says audit means the examination of returns. We all understand has been defined in 297, which means practically 3B, 4, 9, and final return ASMT 10. It does not include GST 1 because that is statement of output supply. Document has been defined, written or printed record of any sort, an electronic record is defined in clause T of section 2 of IT Act. So that means even it can be handwritten, it can be electronically documented. So that document maintained or furnished by the registered dealer. Kindly see the difference. In 61, they have mentioned the document furnished by the registered person. Here they are saying maintained or furnished by the registered person. And that document may be maintained under this act or any other law for the time being in force to verify the correctness of turnover declared, taxes paid, refund claimed, ITC availed, and to assess the compliance with the provisions of law. What is left over? If we are going to verify the correctness of turnover, taxes paid, refund, input tax rate availed, and to assess the compliance, I think it covers the whole law. Now, friends, we will hurriedly go through this section and then we'll come to the issue, because this audit by department is one of the important tools and one of the major reasons for issuance of a show cause notice. We will deal with the practical aspect of it, because once they will come for the audit. So in fact, if you compare it with the income tax law, your whole computation of the taxable income is being covered here. Similarly here, it says 65(1) says the commissioner or any officer authorized by him by way of a general or a specific order. As I told you, there's the Director General of Audit, and then most of the states have issued their audit manual also. Gujarat is one of that, because I remember I have gone through that one. So coming back, it can be by a general or specific order. General means a class of persons or a criteria being laid down. Whosoever satisfy the criteria, they will be subject to audit. Specific means it can be in a particular case. Audit of a registered person. Of course, as I told you, audit can be done only of a registered person, not of a taxable person. Reason already explained and discussed. So not repeating for the sake of brevity. And that audit can be for such period of frequency in such manner. Now it can be any period. Earlier on, it was financial year or multiple thereof. Now it is for such period. That amendment came somewhere in 2018. So the period of audit can be a financial year, multiple thereof, or a part of the financial year or tax periods. This audit can be conducted either at the place of the registered person whose accounts are going to be audited, or it may be the information may be called up by the proper officer in his office, and he can complete the audit in his office also. This audit need to be completed within 3 months. But before that, what is really important is, in terms of subsection 3, a notice has to be given for not less than 15 working days. Kindly appreciate. They are not saying 15 days before the commencement of the audit, before the start of the audit. The language is the registered person shall be informed by way of notice not less than 15 working days prior to the conduct of audit in such manner as being prescribed. So ADT 1. Actually, that is only a procedure in terms of rule 101(2). So what is really important is 15 working days. It is not a suspense movie. It is not a case of inspection or search where surprise element has to be there. Here they are giving you a notice of 15 working days. Working day means the day on which the offices are opened. So because India being such a big country and these notices are being issued by various offices located in various parts of the country, so these 15 days may differ in case A of Chennai or in case of B of Delhi. There may be a holiday which is only in southern India. There may be a holiday which is only in northern India. So 15 days, clear notice of working days is to be calculated. This is what we have to understand. Then time limit, it has to be completed within 3 months from the commencement of audit. And commencement of audit has been explained in the explanation to this subsection 4, where they say commencement of audit means the day when the records has been made available by the registered person or the actual commencement of the audit, whichever is earlier. This period can be further extended by 6 months. That means initially the audit need to be completed in 3 months. Extension can be given for 6 months. And then it is the duty of the registered person to provide facility to the audit party in terms of subsection 5. So when we say facility, so that means in order to facility in the sense that the proper officer is able to conduct the audit peacefully and also supply the information. And that information is with regard to the completion of audit. Once audit has been concluded, within 30 days, those findings and obligations of the SSC are to be reported to him in ADT 02 form. And in case similar to section 61, if you don't agree with the paras made by the audit team, they cannot recover any amount on the basis of those paras. They can only serve you notice under section 73 or 74. And wherever there is a non-cooperation from the SSC, they can resort to the provision of section 67, that is search also. So friend, this is in nutshell a small commentary on this section. And once we have understood this seven subsection, now we can go to the practical aspect of this. This 15 days notice is very, very important. I always suggest all my professional brothers, wherever this notice has been received by the client, you must advise them if they can get their pre-audit either by the professionals or by their internal team if they're capable to do so. So while doing that, you must do the proper documentation. By and large, in indirect taxes, the issues may be many, but in any case, we have to calculate the output tax liability. We have to claim the credit. So whatever credit we have claimed, we must make proper files, Excel sheets, wherein we can get him verified that this is the credit we have availed in this period. All reconciliations, because in the case of services, you are liable to pay tax on advances also. So the revenue declared in the financial statement doesn't match it with your 3B. Of course, you have submitted the 9C, and that 9C must provide the basis of reconciliation. But before the auditors come, you must look at it, look at all the aspect of it, and while collecting the information or collating the information and calculating the liability and claiming the credit, etc., you realize some mistake has happened. Then, of course, we may make use of 73.5. Those 73.5, that means wherever I am willing to pay tax and interest before the investigation by the department, penalty can never be levied. The department may raise an objection if we have issued the invoice, we have issued the audit notice, and therefore, I just take a pause for this second. So, where were we? We were talking about you come across certain discrepancies at your own level, so you must pay that, penalty can be levied. Department may take an objection once we have given the show cause, once we have given the notice for audit, thereupon they have deposited the tax, so they don't require waiver of penalty. But there are ample case law, or you can make out a case. So while doing our internal thing and looking to the language of section 73.5, which clearly says, in case you have paid the tax along with the interest before the issuance of notice, then the proceeding deemed to have been concluded and no notice should be issued. So you can take advantage of that. So this pre-GST audit, this 15 days period must be gainfully used by the client, by the registered person. And in case he cannot afford the professionals or is a small businessman, then in that situation, he can assess the same thing done by their internal accountant, etc., or by the person concerned who is complying or making compliance in his case. So that 15 days period is very, very important. When we come to the issues, friends, it is a huge one. The whole act is there. Once I have come to audit your accounts, I have to check your output tax liability. So there can be number of issues with regard to the discharge of output tax liability. First issue can be a classification issue. I'm classifying goods in a particular HSM code and discharging tax liability rate. And the department feels this product does not fall in that classification. For example, fruit juice and carbonated beverages. So there are different rates for this. There can be a classification dispute. Then there can be a composite supply or mixed supply. We all understand in the case of mixed supply, the rate of tax is the highest rate which is applicable on the product. And whereas in the case of composition, it is the rate of principal supply which shall be applied. There can be an issue with regard to the exemptions which you are claiming. And you are saying that these exemptions are not available. The department may be of the view these exemptions are not available to you. So there can be n number of reasons for the purpose of dispute. So these exemptions, wherever we are availing, we must keep the notification, the relevant case law, which is applicable to you. Then there can be another issue with regard to cross charge, particularly in the case of registered persons who are having pan-India functions or maybe in various states where they have sought registration also. And there is a supply by one party to another. Today only one appellate authority of advanced ruling has ruled that once you are leasing a machinery from one unit to another, that is also a supply. So you are subject to tax. Of course, when it is a question of cross charge, we need not forget the second provision to Rule 28, which clearly says if the credit is available to the other party, then undoubtedly you can have any value, and that value can be very nominal. By doing so, you are complying with the provisions also and meeting the challenge of cross charge raised by the department. Then there can be issue of debit note, credit note. There can be issues of certain income which you have created and they say it falls under agreeing to the obligation to refrain from an act, to tolerate an act or to do an act, whereas you may be of the opinion that these are all in the nature of liquidated damages or in the nature of service provided by the employee to the employer. So all these things, you need to look at it, because as I'm telling you, in audit, the whole GST computation part is open to the departmental officer. There can be an issue with regard to the valuation. You need to refer to section 15. So wherever you are in doubt, if this issue may come, so you firstly get yourself prepared before the audit team comes. And there can be an issue with regard to the place of supply. You may have discharged the liability of C&S, treating it as an intrastate supply. They may say it is an intrastate supply. So in that case, if that being so, my humble suggestion is whenever that kind of a dispute comes and the department says that your classification of sale is not correct, I'm not going in detail looking to the time constraint. You must apply for refund for the tax which you have paid. Because the department says it is an intrastate rather than intra, or it is intra rather than intrastate. So in you, wherever they say that you're liable to pay tax and you have paid wrong tax, you applied to the government to whom you have paid the tax for the purpose of refund. I would like to draw your attention to section 19 of IGST Act and 77 of CGST Act, which clearly says if the payment is there, then eligible government is entitled for the tax, whereas the other government is liable to refund it to whom you have wrongly paid the tax, and no interest can be charged. So once you do that, in most of the cases, if the contention of the department is correct, you have nothing to lose, because you will say, okay, this is a demand of IGST and I am seeking a refund of C&S, kindly adjust against the same. And in case your contention of the department is not correct, again, you are not going to lose anything. You'll get the money in terms of refund and then you deposit it in the correct, with the correct government. Similarly, there can be issue with regard to time of supply. There can be issue with regard to change in rate of tax. So there can be n number of issues. Similarly, there can be n number of issues with regard to ITC also. So I think I will not go into that. I will just go to your questions and try to answer those questions only. Because once I do that, I think that will be better, because some of the queries of the members will be settled. But before I do that, let me read another section, special audit, which is also subject matter of today's discussion. So this section also contains 6 subsections, and it says any stage of inquiry, if the officer feels that the value has not been currently declared or credit availed is not within normal limit. What do you mean by normal limit? So in my humble understanding, it may be industry average or on the basis of SION, standard input output norms, on the basis of which advanced authorizations are being issued. You can also say that this ratio can be compared with the industry ratio. But whether this kind of information will be available in the public domain, I doubt. So they have to compare it with the figures available on the GSTN portal. They have to work hard. So with the permission of the commissioner, they may direct any registered person to get his accounts audited. That audit has to be done by the chartered accountant or cost accountant within 90 days. The period can be extended by further 90 days. And this audit will be done even if you are subject to audit under any other provision of this act or any other law. Then comes hearing. That means if there is any material which is likely to be used against me, you must provide me an opportunity to examine that, confront with me that material, seek my reply. And the most important part is all expenses and the fees payable to the chartered accountant or the cost accountant has to be borne by the department. And again, this also does not contain or create any liability at its own. If in special audit certain issues come, you can undoubtedly reply to them, explain to the department, otherwise department is free to serve you show cause notice under section 73 or 74, which we have discussed in the case of 61 also, 65 also. So friends, I am just giving a pause to myself and try to answer the questions which are there. So I think from where should I start?
क्यूए के पहले ले लो, क्यूए के
क्यूए के ले लो।
एवरेज 2 जनों के हैं। 1 मिनट सर, मैं उनको कर देता हूं अनम्यूट।
मैं राजीव प्रभाकर पे करता हूं सर।
एक तो सर नुमित वर्मा और एक है चोकलिंग, 1 मिनट, पूरा नाम नहीं आ रहा आपका, चोकलिंगम टी। तो आप दोनों को सर अनम्यूट, वी हैव अनम्यूट यू, यू मे आस्क योर क्वेश्चन। नुमित वर्मा।
They may not be there, but I have so many question answer session also. In case you permit me, I can read that.
अभी क्वेश्चन नहीं है कोई सर।
ओके जी सर, प्लीज। हाँ जी, बोल लीजिए सर।
Can an officer ask for verification of buyer while checking a eBay bill when goods are in transit? Okay, once goods are in transit, the question of section 129 and 130. So you have to carry certain documents. If those documents are there, he cannot go and beyond ask for any other information. How to file appeal against the audit, assessment, or any adjudication? It's a question of let Anchal decided, but there is 107 section. You can file an appeal to the commissioner, and then you can file an appeal to the tribunal under section 112. And because commissioner has not been made adjudicating authority under GST law, so the first appeal, irrespective of the amount involved, maybe 500 crore, the appeal will go to the commissioner appeal. Whether penalty can be levied if RCM is deposited along with interest after the discrepancies proposed by the audit. Yes, it can be. Most of the time when we make payment of RCM, it is revenue neutral. And there are, I think everybody will agree with me, there are ample number of judgments available. If it is revenue neutral, then penalty cannot be levied. But in a situation where I am discharging the liability, I have failed to discharge the liability under RCM and the credit is not available to me, there the allegation of willful statement, etc. can be made and you can be subject to penalty. But once it is revenue neutral, there are huge number of case law available to rescue. Anil Vasudeva. Status in the case of non-payment of tax by supplier in the hands of the recipient for 1718 in view of section 41 being notified in 22 April. As I told you, at that point of time, 36(4) was not there. And Supreme Court Bharti judgment will certainly help you. Once you say that supplier has not paid the payment, we are talking about 16(2)(c). Then, as I told you, Arise India and D.Y. Beadle by Madras High Court will come to your rescue. And there are other judgments also in the pre-GST era, which says that buyer cannot be penalized for the fault committed by the selling dealer. Those judgments we have already discussed. Then comes status in the case of DIN in relation to investigation notice under section 67 could not be verified at the CBIC portal. Also, the inspection notice copy is not shared with the registered dealer, and no closure order is shared post investigation if the department is satisfied. Once the DIN could not be verified, the whole proceedings are illegal. No action can be taken against you. And in case the department doesn't agree with that contention, you can simply go to the High Court under writ jurisdiction. Certainly you can go, because this is one of the important issues, whether the raid was made by the proper officer or not, and whether this notice was proper or not. And in income tax, there are huge case law available. You can even rely the income tax case law to support your contention. There may not be ample case law in GST because the searches are very few and limited. But yes, that information, that case law under income tax will help and rescue and come to your rescue. Now we can take the chats if there's any question. Yes. Reply to A70 10 not filed DRC 07 issued. Can assessing officer rectify order if mistake apparent like DRC 07 demand already paid or partly? Okay, then there's no question of rectification. There's no time limit for A70 12. Let him issue the A70 12, the issue will be over. Is there any requirement of time gap between A70 10 and DRC 01? DRC 01 is nothing but a pre-show cause notice. So certainly when the ASMT 10 is not being issued, there is no time limit between ASMT 10 and DRC 01A. But certainly there is a time limit for issuance of notice under section 73 or 74. So that time limit, we need to look at it. Can interest be relaxed for revenue neutral RCM payment? No, interest cannot be. Unless otherwise there are credit available in your ledger and you can say this credit was there. In fact, it's very unfortunate scenario. Rather than filing 2 challan, you have filled only 1 challan, but still you are subject to this litigation and everything. But yes, you have to contest it. If GST notice does not contain DIN, what we have to do? If it, there is no need to reply to that because that is non-est notice. Simply mention this notice does not contain DIN, so it is non-est in terms of circular number so and so. During survey search, GST teams visited business and residential premises due to difference in stock or other material. It was agreed to pay tax of this 20 lakh. If 18 lakh has tax and 2 lakh as penalty. Suppose the tax rate is 5%, then value of sale comes up to be 360 lakhs. How it will be treated in income tax? My dear friend, 271 AAD, the provision in income tax is very dangerous. That is in relation to fake invoicing. Similarly, whatever admission you are making in GST, the information is being shared with the income tax authority and can be very dangerous also. So before you admit anything, kindly look at the consequences. Or alternatively, you can tell to the GST authorities, okay, I am going to buy it. I am paying this tax to buy the mental base. In fact, I am not able to correlate the inventory, etc. So without going into the dispute, I am depositing this money. Don't admit there is a shortage of stock. If that being so, it will have its implication in income tax also, undoubtedly. So with this, I have answered all the queries in chat box, all the queries in question and answer. If still any query has left unanswered, you can ask me to Mr. Jindal. Over to Mr. Jindal. And before I hand over the mic to Jindal sir, thanks to each and everyone for providing me patient hearing. Such a huge gathering, I am really delighted to see. So thanks from the core of my heart to each of the participants.
Thank you very much, sir, for the nice, wonderful deliberation. जिसकी किताबें रिलीज करनी थी वो भाग गया, मैं खुद ही रिलीज कर देता हूँ. मेरे को पता है वो इतनी देर टिक नहीं सकता. पहली किताब उसने TDS TCS पे लिखी है, दूसरी किताब प्रिजर्वेटिव टैक्सेशन पे, तीसरी उसने लिखी है कैश ट्रांजैक्शन पे. और कैश ट्रांजैक्शन की जो बुक है उसकी टैक्स सूत्रा पे बेस्ट सेलर अवार्ड मिल चुका है हमारे RS कालरा जी को. वो अभी मेरे लिए टिकटें अरेंज करने गए हैं, कहते 7 बजे का शो है, तो बस खत्म करके आ जा फटाफट, एक टिकट तेरे लिए भी ले रहा हूँ, मूवी टिकट जो नहीं आई है. तो मैं तो वैसे ये सेशन के बाद उधर जा रहा हूँ. तो मैं जैसे स्टार्टिंग में बता रहा था कि हमारे बत्रा जी हमें पूछते हैं लोग कि जी आप ये इतने सेमिनार करते हो जिंदल साहब, इतनी मेहनत क्यों करते हो? अब मेरे को तो पता नहीं, संजय जी का तो पता नहीं, संजय जी तो आपको मैं पहले ही बोलता हूँ कि इलेक्शनों के लिए मेहनत कर रहे हैं, वो अभी चले गए, स्टार्टिंग में आए थे, उनकी आदत है कि बीच में वो डिस्टर्ब नहीं करते। मैंने उनको बोला था कि आप दोबारा 5:30 आना, तो आपकी इंटरेक्शन एक मेंबरों से करवानी है। तो लेकिन मैं बता दूं, मेरे को ये एक तो कालड़ा जी बुक्स मिल जाती है रिलीज करने के लिए, और दूसरी बत्रा जी की मिल जाती हैं। ये बत्रा जी के मेरे को मिल गया रेडी रेकनर, फिर ये मिल गई मोटी बुक जिसके लिए आगे से ट्रंक लेके जाना पड़ेगा, जिसमें 3-3 बुक्स बत्रा जी ने बना रखी हैं लॉ एंड प्रोसीजर के ऊपर। और गुरुजी की किताबों की तो लाइन ही है, मतलब मैं आपको कितनी दिखाऊं, टीडीएस के ऊपर, कैपिटल गेन के ऊपर, लॉ एंड प्रोसीजर के ऊपर। अभी और भी गिरीश ओझा जी की इतनी बुक्स है कि मेरे को रिलीज करने का हर 15 दिन बाद मौका मिल जाता है, जब भी मैं दिल्ली जाता हूँ। अब मैं 2 तारीख को दिल्ली जा रहा हूँ, 2 तारीख को उनका कंसाइज कमेंट्री आ जाएगी, तो उसका भी मौका मिल जाएगा हमें रिलीज करने का गुरुजी के साथ। अभी जैसे मैंने आपको अनाउंस किया, मैं एक स्क्रीन शेयर कर रहा हूँ, मेरे गुरुजी से बात हुई है, तो वो हम प्रोग्राम भी बड़ी जल्दी लेके आ रहे हैं, ये हम लॉन्च कर रहे हैं। ये मैंने सिंपल बनाया है कि उसमें हमारा कंसेप्ट क्या है कि टैक्स ऑडिट इंटरेक्शन हेल्पलाइन बाय वॉइस ऑफ सीए एंड चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट एसोसिएशन। We are introducing it as a new concept for the benefit of our member, so that they may handle not only tax audit close by close queries, their problems day to day they face, and new ड्रैकोनिंग, जो आपका ड्रैगन मैंने इसको ड्रैगन लिखा है, ड्रैकोनिंग जो फॉर्म 10B आया है ऑडिट रिपोर्ट का इन केस ऑफ चैरिटेबल इंस्टीट्यूशन, उसकी 50 क्लोजेस को कैसे भरना है। और वो एक बहुत पेनफुल फॉर्म है कि जिसमें सीए की ह्यूज रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, उसके बारे में हम चर्चा किया करेंगे ऑन डेली ऑन वीकली बेसिस इन दैट ग्रुप, जिसका नाम मैंने रखा है एजुकेशनल पीरियड। 40 मिनट का पीरियड होगा वो, जैसे हमारा कॉलेज में पीरियड होता है, तो उसका टाइम रहेगा 6 to 6:40 PM एवरी वीक ऑन ट्यूसडे, स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम 27th June एंड विल कंटिन्यू टिल 26 September, जब तक आप अपनी असाइनमेंट कंप्लीट ना कर लो। उसके अलावा जो पीरियड है हम 2 भागों में डिवाइड करेंगे। हम ट्राई करेंगे कि डिफरेंट शहरों से हमारे साथ जो बंदे वॉलंटियर अपने आप को प्रेजेंट करना चाहते हैं, 40-50 पैनलिस्ट जो टॉक इनिशिएट किया करेंगे, अलोंग विद जो भी हमारे और जो एमिनेंट स्पीकर ज्वाइन करना चाहेंगे साथ में। तो उसके बाद 20 मिनट में जो आपकी स्पेसिफिक क्वेरीज होगी, कोई भी रिलेटेड टू टैक्स ऑडिट और 10B फॉर्म और एनी एनुअल ऑडिट फॉर्म जो हम इनकम टैक्स में यूज करते हैं, हम उसमें और कोई क्वेरी नहीं लेंगे कि 15 CAC भी गया नहीं गया, वो हम बिल्कुल नहीं लेंगे उसमें। तो ये 40 मिनट का रहेगा। अगर ये ज्यादा इंटरेक्टिव रहेगा, इंटरेस्ट होगा, तो हम 1 आवर तक भी इसको खींच लेंगे। तो इसकी फीस रहेगी निल, और इसका जूम लिंक जो मैं आपको शेयर करूंगा इसके बाद, ये मैंने नीचे लिख भी रखा है, ये पूरी टन्योर चलेगा, मतलब 3 महीने चलेगा, जून जुलाई अगस्त सितंबर, ये आपका 3 महीने सेम लिंक चलेगा। और हर महीने आपको, हर हफ्ते आपको मेल आ जाए करेगी सेम लिंक से ज्वाइन करने की। इसके अलावा एक इसमें और पॉपअप है, वो ये है कि जो दीपेंद्र मोहन गर्ग जी हैं, जिनका हमने लास्ट टाइम भी प्रोग्राम करवाया था, वो एक्सपर्ट हैं इनकम टैक्स फॉर्म फाइलिंग में, प्रोसीजर्स में, टेक्निकलिटीज में। तो उनको मैंने रिक्वेस्ट की है कि 10B फॉर्म पे 24th को एक फुल फ्लैज वेबिनार करने के लिए 2 घंटे का। लेकिन गुरुजी से अभी बात हुई थी, गुरुजी शायद 24th को महाबलेश्वर और उधर जा रहे हैं, शायद वो एयरपोर्ट पे होंगे तो ना मिले। तो आई विल चेंज द डेट इधर टू 25th और 23rd, सो दैट गुरुजी से हम एक इनॉग्रल जो कहते हैं ना, इनॉग्रेशन करवानी है उस सीरीज की भी और 10B की भी। और गुरुजी को रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा, अगर तो 10 मिनट उनको 24th को मिले तो 24th, और वी विल चेंज द डेट टू 23rd और 25th अकॉर्डिंगली। तो उस दिन हम फुल फ्लैज वेबिनार रखेंगे। उसके बाद संजय अग्रवाल जी का टैक्स ऑडिट के ऊपर वेबिनार रखेंगे 2 घंटे का। और ये जो सीरीज होगी, ये क्वेरी रिजोल्विंग और इंटरेक्शन सीरीज होगी, जिसमें लगभग 12-15 सेशन हमारे बन जाएंगे, क्योंकि एक हफ्ते में 4 होते हैं। तो 3 महीने आने हैं, जुलाई अगस्त सितंबर, 12 और 1 13, कम से कम 12-13 सेशन ये हम डिस्कशन करेंगे, जो भी आपकी क्वेरी होगी। और अगर वो ज्यादा टेक्निकल और डिफिकल्ट क्वेरी होगी तो उसके ऊपर हम वेबिनार भी प्लान कर लेंगे। तो ये तो एक नई अनाउंसमेंट थी मेरी इसके रिलेटेड। जो हम लेके आ रहे हैं। तो नेहा हमारे साथ जुड़ चुकी हैं, जो हमारे संजय जी की बेटी भी हैं और को फाउंडर भी हैं हमारी वॉइस ऑफ सीए में। और हमारे होने वाले दामाद साहब, वो पता नहीं विशाल जी थापा जी है अवेलेबल अभी, वो भी साथ में जुड़े हुए हैं। तो दिनेश शर्मा जी जो हमारे एनआईआरसी के वाइस चेयरमैन, वो भी हमारे साथ जुड़े हुए हैं। और हम अंचल कपूर जी हमारे सेकंड सेशन के स्पीकर, वो भी हमारे साथ जुड़ चुके हैं। और जितने भी पैनलिस्ट हैं, राधिका जी और देन शेफी मगलानी, योगेश बांका जी फ्रॉम उड़ीसा भुवनेश्वर, देन ऋषभ अग्रवाल, और सबसे ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट हमारे 417 पैनलिस्ट अटेंडी जो हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं। हालांकि हमने रजिस्ट्रेशन बंद कर दी थी, उसका हमारा यही होता है, बंद करने का कारण ये होता है कि अगर 1000 बंदे ने रजिस्ट्रेशन करवा ली मेंबर्स ने, तो हमें ये रहता है कि कहीं वो सारे ही आगे तो उनको मौका नहीं मिलेगा ज्वाइन करने का। दैट्स वाई हम वो रजिस्ट्रेशन बंद कर देते हैं। बट बाय सीकिंग दिस एक्सपीरियंस इन द प्रीवियस सेशन एंड इन द पास्ट कि 30-40% मेंबर ही ज्वाइन करते हैं। नेक्स्ट टाइम जो हम इसकी रजिस्ट्रेशन लिमिट विल इंक्रीज टू 1500 सो दैट 500 इमीडिएटली ज्वाइन कर सकें। तो हम इसकी लिमिट इंक्रीज करके 1500 पे लेके जाएंगे नेक्स्ट वेबिनार में। तो ज्यादा टाइम ना लेते हुए मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा शफी मिगलानी से, नेहा जी आप 2 शब्द बोलना चाहेंगे?
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू। आई एम प्रिटी श्योर हमारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स ने बहुत इंजॉय किया होगा बत्रा सर का सेशन और आंचल मैम का सेशन। आंचल मैम से तो मैं हमेशा सवाल पूछती रहती हूँ और बत्रा सर से मैं अपने केस सॉल्व करवाती रहती हूँ ऑल द टाइम। it's a pleasure seeing these panelists and these speakers on our platform time and again. And Voice of CA is very thankful to you both कि आप लोग टाइम निकाल के हर बार जब भी हम रिक्वेस्ट करते हैं आप आते हैं, अपना टाइम देते हैं, हमारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स के साथ अपना ज्ञान बांटते हैं, which is one of the biggest things somebody can do. And I would like to acknowledge all the panelists that have joined us and all the participants जो हमारे साथ शुरू से अभी तक जुड़े हुए हैं और सेशन के एंड तक जुड़े रहेंगे. Thank you so much for being such loyal participants with the Voice of CA and CA Association. Thank you.
अनमोल जी, हमारे जो सेमिनार हैं वो हमारे यूपीई है, अपडेटेड प्रोफेशनल एजुकेशन, सीपीई नहीं है। तो मेंबरशिप नंबर हमें नहीं चाहिए, तो आपको सर्टिफिकेट मिल जाएगा अगर आपकी अटेंडेंस 3 घंटे जहाँ रिलैक्स्ड पीरियड हम कर देंगे 2.45 मिनट, 2 घंटे 45 मिनट जो अटेंड करेगा उसको सर्टिफिकेट हम बाई मेल भेज देंगे आपको। आप अपने मेल चेक करते रहें। आफ्टर 15 डेज, एटलीस्ट 2 to 3 वीक्स लगेंगे। तो अगर किसी का कोई क्वेश्चन है तो वो क्यूए में भी पूछ सकते हैं, आप हैंड रेज कर सकते हैं, तो हम आपको अनम्यूट कर देंगे। आप 1-to-1 इंटरेक्शन हमारी फैकल्टी से भी कर सकते हैं। यही इस प्लेटफॉर्म का एडवांटेज है। तो मैं ज्यादा टाइम ना लेते हुए रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा शेफी मिगलानी जी से कि वो इंट्रोड्यूस करें अंचल कपूर जो हमारे सेकंड पार्ट के स्पीकर हैं रिलेटेड टू जीएसटी अपील्स।
Right, sir, right. Okay. First of all, I would like to thank you, Neha ma'am, for organizing all the interactive sessions time by time. And also Jinder sir for giving me the opportunity to introduce all the amazing personalities all the time. So I would like to welcome CA Anchal Kapoor ma'am today on board. She has already created a niche for herself in the profession because she's really different with her approach. She makes a really practical and illustrative approach on her topics, which is mainly GST. So she doesn't need an introduction, but just for the sake of it, I'll do that. She's a chartered accountant and law graduate by qualification, and she's into tax practice for over a decade now. And she's a national speaker on GST and handled almost 300 plus deliberations on GST. कि इन्होंने 2200 participants को भी एक टाइम पे हैंडल किया हुआ है, and which is really amazing. She is a renowned speaker also. She's an author to many GST publications of ICI, AIFTP, और इनको AIFTP Presidential Award भी मिला है 21-22 में because of her contribution to the GST stream. also she's an active member of ITRAA, which is the Independent Tax Research and Analysis Association. I think the list is long. I can keep on going, but I would really want that we should not waste time on that, and we should just concentrate on the ocean of knowledge she has. And today she's going to handle this practical topic. And now I would like to call her on board and share her piece of knowledge.
शफी, मैंने स्पेशली ना अंचल जी को बोल के इनका लेटेस्ट रिज्यूमे मंगवाया था, आपने कट शॉर्ट कर दिया। मैंने इनको कहा कि ऐसे ही ना हो कि जिंदल साहब आपके जैसे इनकम टैक्स एक्ट 1965 का पढ़ा रहे हैं, वो आपका मैं क्या जो रिज्यूम प्रोफाइल है वो 12-15 साल में इतना बढ़ गया कि हम वो आपका 12 साल वाले पहले वाला पढ़े जाएं, आपने फिर वो 12 साल पहले वाले पढ़ दिया। चलो एनीवे, थैंक यू वेरी मच। आई रिक्वेस्ट अंचल जी टू स्टार्ट द डेलीगेशन।
Maybe I got that piece only, but मैं अपने आप को update करूँगी अगली बार पक्का।
Thank you so much, CA Shafi, first of all, for your wonderful words, and I hope I will be able to justify that. जिंदल सर ने अपनी बात तो बता दी सब पार्टिसिपेंट्स को, लेकिन ये नहीं बताया कि मैंने जवाब क्या दिया था कि आप 1965 के नहीं 2065 के हो। So 2000, so he can never be behind, he can only supersede others, you know. All right, so first of all, I'm very thankful to VOCA for this opportunity, and CA Association, Ashwini Jindal sir, and Neha is also present there. So just this platform is so good, and I love deliberating on it, and with such a lovely audience around the corner. I know you have heard a power-packed session by none other than the GST tax guru Ashok Batra sir. So although I might not be able to maintain the same momentum, but we'll try to catch up to a certain extent possible. Now, friends, coming to the topic as a continuation, because the series was kept in relation to litigation itself. So litigation को ही continue करते हुए अभी आपने assessments देखी, audit देखा, उसके provisions, jurisprudence जो उसमें आ चुकी है, जो अभी चल रहे हैं, all that matters you have taken up. Now we are going to enter the appeal section. So let me tell you, appeal section आजकल बहुत हिलजुल वाला section है. हिलजुल वाला section इसलिए क्योंकि time and again इसमें changes आ रहे हैं. Time and again इसमें orders जो हैं, जो writ jurisdiction से writs जो है pass हो रही हैं. काफी appeals के provision change हुए हैं because we all have entered into the litigation phase. So litigation phase में enter करने की वजह से nowadays we are busy filing the appeals. चाहे वो कोई माल पकड़ा गया है, मोबाइल विंग की अपील्स हैं, सेक्शन 129 की अपील्स हैं, रिफंड्स की अपील्स हैं, then there are certain assessment orders against which the appeals are getting filed. So refund rejection order against which the appeals are getting filed. So without taking much time, let me share the screen and enter the appeal regime now. Here we go. Let me open the chat box also so that I can interact with you all. Just give me a while. All right. Yeah. Thank you, Puri sir. Now starting with it, friends, what I need is the lots of interaction from you all in the chat box. So let's start it with the very firstly with sir, is my screen visible?
Yes, yes, Anchal ji, haan ji.
All right, let me make it the slideshow. Slideshow is not there. All right. Great, Manish ji, Vijay Kumar ji. Thank you so much. All right, friends. So talking about the appeals, you know, lots of questions. So चलिए जल्दी से एक बार quickly rapid fire round से start करते हैं. And I want all of you to reply in the chat box. Can appeals be filed manually? Yes or no? See, there are only two options, yes or no. So no, okay. Shiv Kumar ji also saying no. Everybody except Hitesh Gupta ji sent yes, Akash Verma ji sent yes. All right, let's come to the next one. Don't worry, we will find answer to all these questions when we will proceed further. So few answers, yes are also coming up now with majority of no answers. Okay, my second and very important and hot topic nowadays. Can the person concerned, the appellate authority, Can they enhance the demand in appeal? Suppose there was an order of 100 rupees, and can they make it to be 120? So Amit ji saying no, Simran ji saying no. All right. So I think so you all have missed one section, which is 107 subsection 11. Only one yes answer I could see. Anyhow, we will find answer to this question also. Okay. What about the pre-deposit? Can the pre-deposit be made? Okay, I will come to the OBH also, Hitesh ji. But pehla question ye tha, can they enhance? Can it be enhanced? All right. Now coming to the question, pre-deposit. Can pre-deposit be made through the credit ledger? See, these are all those questions which are very, very practical. And when we file the appeal, so you all are saying, yes, we can use the credit ledger for the pre-deposit. Gaurav ji saying no. All right. Okay. What about the certified copies we deposit? Do we need to deposit or file the certified copy of the order with the officer concerned? Yes or no? After, even if you file the appeal, okay, yes and no, mix answers, yes, yes. चलिए, so ये सारे provisions जो अभी मैंने आपको एक quick snapshot दिया कि इनमें क्या हो सकता है, क्या नहीं हो सकता. I already told you that appeal regime is very much drastic nowadays. So let's see. No if showing on portal. Great, Gulamji. I will be coming to it. So almost the correct answer. Starting with the appeals. Yes. Appeal starts from section 107. Let me just, yeah. Appeal starts from section 107. And it's followed by, it goes up to 121 with the rules also starting from 108. I will be taking you through the appeals in a very, very practical approach. That what are the pointers we should make? What are the case laws we should cite? On what grounds we can file the appeal? What are the case laws that we will be referring to? So we will be doing it all through the case studies. Jitne pointers abhi humne discuss kiye, along with the law were better. Now friends, talking about, acha, ek question to पूछना भूल गई. Is revision possible in GST? Is revision possible in GST? GST में revision का कोई provision है? Okay, है. So अगर मैं remedies की बात करूं, my dear friends, great, you all are saying yes. If I talk about the remedies under GST, so what are the remedies available to the person concerned? He can appeal in section 107. Vijayji, do exist. In section 108, we have the revision and we have rectification under 161. Anubhavji, I will come to the writs also. How we can go for that, a little bit touch upon this because our topic today is appeals. Right, so Anubhavji saying writ to sir hamara ek article 226 ke according hamara ek constitutional right hai which flows along with it. Right, other than the statutory right being provided by the law. Now, talking about the remedies under GST, a person can file, aggrieved person can file an appeal. A revision of the order which is passed by an adjudicating authority can be done. We can apply for rectification if there are certain prima facie errors. Now, talking about appeal, आप लोगों में से बहुत लोगों ने income tax की appeals की होंगी. Income tax और GST की appeals में एक फर्क ये है, सबसे पहले अगर मैं फर्स्ट स्टेप देखूं एपिलेट रेमेडी का, इनकम टैक्स में CIT अपील्स के पास अपील जाती हैं which only an assessee can do, but GST is a little different. In GST, in 107 section, we have 107 subsection 1, 107 subsection 2. Why? In 107 subsection 1, my dear friends, appeal is being filed by the aggrieved person. Of course, other than the department, the aggrieved person. 107 subsection 2 says, Commissioner, you by order, you first can call for the records of any proceedings. Now, proceedings is also a very wider word. It includes your recovery proceedings also. It includes your adjudication proceedings also. So he can call for the records and he can scrutinize, he can check that records and can direct any officer subordinate to him to appeal to the appellate authority, which we generally call as a review appeal. So as against income tax, even at the first appellate remedy, which is given under GST, appeal can be filed by the aggrieved person also, and can be filed by the department also, through the order of the commissioner, directing any officer to file the appeal, which we call as a review appeal also in layman language or otherwise. Now, coming towards against whose order appeal can be filed? Adjudicating authority. Friends, let me tell you, there are two terms: assessments and adjudication. Assessment is a borrowed concept. ये सर्विस टैक्स में भी एग्जिस्ट नहीं करता था. Assessment is a borrowed concept from VAT. Assess and then adjudicate means when they determine your tax element. So adjudicating authority is defined under section 2 clause 4 of CGST Act, which says that any authority which is appointed or authorized to pass any order or decision under this act, but what it does not, it means whosoever is appointed or authorized to pass any order or decision which determines your tax liability, that is an adjudicating authority which adjudicates your tax element. But it does not include your board, CBIC, revisional authorities, advance ruling authorities, national. This has been added, but that is this amendment is yet to be notified. Then your appellate advance ruling authorities, appellate authorities, appellate tribunals and एंटी प्रॉफिटेरिंग. इनको छोड़ दे जो भी ऑफिसर आपकी जो भी ऑफिसर इस एक्ट में, इस एक्ट का मतलब CGST also, SGST also, UTGST also are authorized to pass any order or decision, they are considered as the adjudicating authority. Why I refer to adjudicating authority? A first step of appeal, that is section 107 subsection 1 says that appeal can be filed against the order of adjudicating authority. Now let me ask you all one question. Let me ask you all one question. Is right to appeal an inherent right? Yes or no? Is right to appeal an inherent right? Answer, Anish ji, is no. Right to appeal is a right, Aditya ji, Vinod ji, right to appeal is a statutory right. So we talked about firstly what is adjudicating authority. अरे adjudicating authority आपके order के against हम appellate authority के पास जा सकते हैं. Appellate authority कौन है? जो section 107 में refer की गई है as per section 2 clause 8. Okay. Revisional authority revision करेगी जो in section 108. So these are the two separate remedies that are available: appellate remedy and the revisional authority. Revision is a separate branch. Now coming towards appeal. Appeal is what? When you are aggrieved by any order and you want the higher authority to reverse that order due to the disputes arising therein, is what appeal is. And as I told you, right to appeal is not an inherent right, but it is a right which is created by the statute, meaning thereby, if the statute permits that, okay, this is you can file against appeal against it, then only that order becomes an appealable order. So this is what the Honorable Supreme Court has also laid down in Anand Mills Limited. If it is given by statute, it is allowed. That cannot be denied. But if it is not given by statute, it cannot be implied that you have the right to file the appeal. So that is why you see, even if we come statute, the law itself says in these cases you cannot file an appeal. So what are those? These are basically procedural parts. When first, certain or all orders other than these are appealable orders. Your ASMT orders are appealable orders. Now coming towards it, like ASMT 13 is issued, that is also an appealable order. What are non-appealable orders? These four are non-appealable orders. Sabse pehle, अगर कोई प्रोसीडिंग्स एक ऑफिसर से, कमिश्नर की अथॉरिटी से, उनकी एम्पावरमेंट से, उनकी ऑथराइजेशन से, अगर कोई का केस एक ऑफिसर से दूसरे ऑफिसर पे ट्रांसफर हो जाता है, दैट इज नॉट एन अपीलेबल ऑर्डर. Second, in inspection, search and seizure, in seizure, when the order pertaining to seizure or retention of books of accounts and registers and other documents are there, that is against not an appeal. It means the order of seizure is not an appealable order. Order sanctioning prosecution is not an appealable order. Yes, you can definitely exhaust the writ remedy, which is your constitutional right as per Article 226, but as per the statute, I already told you. अभी जो हम पकड़ेंगे, जो sections पकड़ेंगे, there are two ways. Going by the hierarchy is appellate, first appellate level, appellate tribunal level, high court level, Supreme Court level. This is a statutory right. Other than that is the constitutional rights, the right to appeal in case the fundamental right to file the writ petitions with the high courts, with the SLP being filed with the Supreme Court as per Article 32. So that is a separate one, right? Now, if we go towards in these cases, if it is a prosecution order, if as per section 80, installments, for examples, are not allowed or something, you cannot apply for, you cannot appeal against that order. So right to appeal is not an inherent right, a statutory right. A statute can create the exceptions that, okay, these orders are not appealable. And even not that, sometimes even the monetary limits are being created for the department for the purpose of regulation. That department for this particular quantum will not go into appeal. So directions fixing such monetary limits are also passed for the purpose of regulation कि ठीक है, इससे छोटे amount से appeal आगे take up नहीं की जाएगी. But that does not mean that acceptance of the claim by the department. No, it is only for the purpose of regulating that a certain monetary limit can also be fixed. Now the question comes, ये तो हमने पढ़ लिया कि 4 orders के against हम appeal में नहीं जा सकते हैं, right? Now, if we talk about what are the orders that which against appeals we can file and we have been filing, registration cancellation. Nowadays, lots of orders are coming into it. Section 73 orders, Section 74 orders, refund orders, LUT rejections, provisional assessments, demand orders, penalty orders, may it be under 125, 129 orders, 130 orders, orders issued against non-filer of returns. Against all these, this is an illustrative list, against all these we can file the appeal. Now the question comes, against the orders we can file the appeals, but the notice, summons, audit memos are not the orders. Hence, appeals cannot be filed against it. Now, coming towards, I told you, Atul sir, I already told you that there are step ladders. First, where we follow the hierarchy, appeal goes to first authority, then to the tribunal, then to the High Court, and then to the Supreme Court. Here, what the statute provides, period, in how much time period you are supposed to go, what will be the points that can be taken up and all. Sir, इससे पहले तो ट्राइब्यूनल की बात नहीं हो रही थी, 11th की एक और मीटिंग अब फिक्स हो गई है, and very soon we can see the tribunals being coming up due to the consensus, or last council meeting maybe the issue has been taken up. Now coming towards the point that who can file appeal. In 107 subsection 1, it is the aggrieved person who can file the appeal. In 107 subsection 2, it is the authorized officer who can file an appeal. Now let's look what the section has to say. Any aggrieved person. Now what is this aggrieved person? The person who has the pecuniary interest. Now let me come to an example and ask you all. Can an association on the behalf of its member file an appeal? Can an association file an appeal? No. Why? Locus standi does not stand. Sir, Gaurav, I'm not talking about the pill. I'm normally talking about locus standi. Absolutely, Sunil ji. So, person aggrieved has to prove the locus standi that he has direct legal interest in a particular thing. That is an aggrieved person, but it is a wider term. Then party aggrieved. If I talk about party aggrieved, now give you an example. Custom made works a lot. In customs, what happens? माल छुड़वाए, एक आया एक पार्टी के नाम पर, दूसरी पार्टी आके बोलती है no, these goods belong to me. So the goods that you have confiscated belong to me. Then he becomes the person aggrieved because he has direct legal interest into it. So it means there must be locus standi. It is not like that in Mahindra and Mahindra case, what happened? This is the ultimate burden falls on the consumer. So consumer has a locus standi. No. So aggrieved person who proves the locus standi, who has direct legal interest, can file an appeal. Now, who can be an aggrieved person? There can be number of cases. A person जिसको exemption deny कर दी गई हो, किसी के ऊपर penalty लगा दी गई हो, उसका ITC disallowed कर दिया गया हो. It can be a number of factors which can make a person aggrieved. जिसकी बात नहीं मानी गई, जिसकी enhancement कर दी गई है tax की, by any decision or order passed under this act or SGST Act or UTGST Act by an adjudicating authority. Against the order of adjudicating authority, you can appeal to appellate authority within a period of 3 months as per read with rule 108. As per rules 108. इसका मतलब 3 months में मुझे appeal करना mandatory है. Don't worry, I will come to the extensions also and otherwise also. Now, coming towards the next is person aggrieved भी हो गया, appellate authority के पास appeal कर सकता है against the order of adjudicating authority. Form कौन सा? APL 01. अब मैंने आपसे क्वेश्चन पूछा था कि क्या अपील मैनुअली जाएगी या ऑनलाइन जाएगी, तो आप सबने कहा ऑनलाइन जाएगी. जरा मेरे साथ एक बार रूल 108 पढ़िए. An appeal to appellate authority under section 107(1) shall be filed in GST APL 01 along with the relevant documents. Please read the word either electronically or otherwise. And friends, let me tell you, अभी जो Tran 1 के cases हुए हैं, in pursuant to the circular 182, जहां पे Tran credit का window दोबारा खुला था, उसके कोई भी orders online uploaded नहीं आ रहे. उन सब केसेस में हमने मैनुअल अपील्स फाइल की. सेकंड, कई बार जो माल पकड़ा जाता है, मोबाइल विंग स्पेशली SGST डिपार्टमेंट, दे डू नॉट अपलोड द ऑर्डर्स. जब ऑर्डर अपलोड नहीं होता तो उसकी अपील भी इलेक्ट्रॉनिकली नहीं जा सकती है. If the order is uploaded, the appeal must be filed electronically. But if the order is not uploaded, the appeal cannot go electronically as it can be filed manually also. Mr. Dhand, I will come to the receipt issue. That is a big issue and there is a change in that too. Now, APL 0 form में electronically or otherwise आप जो है अपील फाइल कर सकते हैं in the signed manner, in a proper manner. Now, अब आपके पॉइंट पे आते हैं मिस्टर धान, and let me tell you all the viewers, even many of my parties has suffered because of this. Old law में क्या था, आप चाहे अपील मैनुअली करें, चाहे आप इलेक्ट्रॉनिकली क्यों ना करें, आपको as per rule 108 certified copy of the decision or the order appealed against 7 days of filing of appeal में वहां डिपॉजिट करानी होती थी, जमा करानी होती. As a result, ये कॉपी 7 days में नहीं मिलती, जिसकी वजह से बहुत सारी अपील्स टाइम बार्ड हो जाती थी. टाइम बार्ड क्यों हो जाती थी? हैव अ लुक ऑन द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. देखिए, पहला लॉ क्या था? सर्टिफाइड कॉपी अगर तो आप 7 days में डिपॉजिट करा दोगे ऑफ फाइलिंग ऑफ द फॉर्म APL 01, the date of provisional acknowledgement, sir, as in when you deposit your appeal, as in when you file your appeal, submit the form APL 01, you are being issued a provisional acknowledgement. And if you file the certified copy, एंड सर्टिफाइड पे बहुत झगड़ा था. इट वाज लाइक कि डिपार्टमेंट सर्टिफाइड होनी चाहिए, बहुत कोर्ट्स की भी रूलिंग्स है. सर्टिफाइड कॉपी वाज टू बी सबमिटेड विद इन 7 days. डेट देन जिस डेट पे आपने APL 01 फाइल किया था एंड यू वर इश्यूड द प्रोविजनल एक्नॉलेजमेंट, दैट वाज कंसिडर्ड एज डेट ऑफ फाइलिंग ऑफ अपील. If you submit it after 7 days of filing of appeal, then the date when you submit the certified copy was taken as the date of filing of appeal. Now I tell you, 3 months was the time period. In one of my party's case, there was only an error of a single digit in the invoice number, covered by circular 64, that the officer should levy a minor penalty. The party deposited, it is 3 months. Now, if it talks about, it is given in months. So, if it is talked about that, अच्छा, आपको वो जो कॉपी थी उसकी हमने अपील ऑनलाइन अपलोड कर दी. It was well within a period of 3 months. It was well within a period of 3 months. And we said to the party, ये bunch आप जाके डिपॉजिट करा दीजिए, पेपर बुक डिपॉजिट करा दीजिए, एंड उसमें एक सर्टिफाइड कॉपी ऑफ ऑर्डर ऑफिसर से नहीं आई है, टेक दैट एंड सबमिट दैट. The party could not get the certified copy from the department for a period of 4 months. अब 4 months बाद जब उसने अपनी सर्टिफाइड कॉपी डिपॉजिट कराई, डेट ऑफ सबमिशन क्या बन गई? 5 months बाद, क्योंकि 1 महीने बाद अपील गई, 4 महीने उसको सर्टिफाइड कॉपी में लगे, 5 महीने. The appeal was made time barred. It became time barred. बहुत सारे सीखिए, it was the remedy, the legal remedy was denied just because of a procedural lapse कि certified copy deposit नहीं हुई. This point was considered. सर, इसके ऊपर जजमेंट्स भी हैं. आई विल गिव यू द जजमेंट्स. ओडिशा हाई कोर्ट की भी 3 जजमेंट्स हैं जिसमें कोर्ट ने प्रोसीजरल लैप्स को कंडोन किया है और कहा है कि आप justice must prevail and it should not be, the appeal should be allowed to be proceeded with. But let me tell you, appellate authority is not giving the benefit. It is only through the courts that are directing the officer to consider the appeal. So please be careful as to the time limits when you are filing the appeals. Now, as regards this certified copy, the law stand amended. What was the amendment? Now the new law says, okay, if your appeal is filed online, no need to worry. You are not supposed to submit any certified copy of the order. Or word bhi change kar diye, self-certified. So they put an end. They put an end to this thing ki certified. They made it self-certified. अगर तो आपकी अपील ऑर्डर जो है वो ऑनलाइन अपलोडेड है, देन आप जो आप फाइल करेंगे अपनी अपील, इंडिकेटिंग अपील नंबर, द acknowledgement shall be issued in GST APL 02 और कोई ऑर्डर की कॉपी अपलोड नहीं करनी. But if the order appealed against is not uploaded on the portal, then you are supposed to submit the self-certified copy submitted within 7 days. अगर 7 days में कर दी, provisional acknowledgement, and if you don't do it within a period of 7 days from GST APL 01, then date of submission of self-certified copy. Friends, let me tell you, please be careful as to the timings. Or sir, these are the various judgments. Shri Jagannath Traders, Altas PVC Pipes. Here, the appellate authority was instructed by the Honorable High Court to allow the benefit of appeal and let the justice be prevailed, even if there was delay in submission of the copy of the order appealed against. So ये 3 judgments हैं which I have given here, Shri Jagannath Ji, Altas PVC Pipes and Shri Udyog, all 3 by the Honorable High Court of Odisha, where they had said that the procedural lapse, mere delay in closing a certified copy of order appealed against should not come in the way of being considered by the on merits by the appellate authority. But let me tell you, if I come to the period, and sir, these are certain Supreme Court judgments, tested judgments, where it has been held that if there are no mala fide intentions, the delay should be condoned no matter what is the period of delay. May it be 700 days, may it be 2 years, if there is a reasonable cause, then, but these are being advanced by the various courts. If you talk about the condonation of delay by the appellate authority, so friends, let me tell you, the condonation power of the appellate authority in section 107 is only 1 month. Meaning thereby, you have to file the appeal in 01 within a period of 3 months. If you are late, the condonation can only be of 1 month. And let me tell you this, the department, the appellate authorities are very much concerned with it. And if you think if the appeal is late by 4 months, means 3 plus 1, the delay will not be condoned, because there is no power in the act itself to condone the delay by the appellate authority. So it is only through the courts, the writs, that are giving the benefit for condonation beyond a period of 4 months. Be careful in adhering to the time limits given thereby. Now, the next question comes is pre-deposit. किसके ऑर्डर के अगेंस्ट, ये भी we got to know. किसके पास जाना है, that also we got to know. कितने टाइम पीरियड में जाना है, वो भी. डॉक्यूमेंट्स में ऑर्डर की कॉपी लगानी है, ऑनलाइन में लगा दीजिए, सर्टिफाइड मैनुअल कॉपी देने की जरूरत नहीं है, बट अदरवाइज 7 डेज में दे देना सेल्फ सर्टिफाइड कॉपी. नहीं दोगे तो जब दोगे वही आपकी डेट ऑफ अपील होगी. Now coming towards the mandatory pre-deposits. See, I have used the word mandatory pre-deposits. What is to be deposited? Full undisputed amount. If there is an addition of 100 rupees, you are agreeing to 30 rupees, you are supposed to pay 30. Balance 70, which is the disputed. Now the question, let me ask you all. Whatever is the disputed, do we need to pay 10% is the mandatory deposit of tax, or tax plus interest plus penalty? Quickly, is it only tax or tax plus demand of tax only? Absolutely correct. See, I have such a knowledgeable audience. Absolutely, it is only the tax. So have a look. 10% of the disputed tax subject to maximum of 25 crore. And if it is a penalty under 129(3), then 25%. Then 25%, the law has already been amended. So, ये mandatory pre-deposits आपको कराने हैं. If I go by the example, let me show you the example also. Have a look. Adjudication order Mr. Rakesh Kumar पे serve हुआ. He was given a demand of 300 crores. 300 crores. Out of which he admitted 20 crores, he's supposed to pay. Balance 280, 10%, subject to maximum 25, yani 45. Under one act, please read the wording, what I have written there. Each, 25 crores each. So total of 45. Right? Absolutely, Jay Thakkar ji. I will come to 129 subsection 3 also. Ab Jay ji ne question kiya, which is a very valid question. He said, yahan to pre-deposit 25% likha hai. But the officers, they are not relieving even after the full payment of amount. Jay Thakkar ji, there are a number of judgments. I have quoted many of these here. Where this says कि 25% 129 में जो amount है उसको pay कर दीजिए, लेकिन balance में भी courts ने कहा है you are supposed to furnish the bond or to give the guarantee only then, but 25% तो pay करना mandatory है as a pre-deposit. Generally party ने माल छुड़वाना होता है तो वो अपना 100% pay करते हैं और अपने goods को release करा लेते हैं. अगर आपने 100% पेमेंट कर दी है, in that case there is no pre-deposit because your 100% amount stands paid. Now अब मैं 1 मिनट के लिए pre-deposit को ही कंटिन्यू करती हूँ. I asked you all, अब पहला क्वेश्चन तो हमने ढूंढ लिया था कि okay, appeal can go manually also. Now second question comes, क्या appeal के लिए, के pre-deposit के लिए can we use the credit ledger? Sir, the answer is paisa to paisa hai. Yes, Hitesh ji, have a look. So money is money, honey. So if I say cash or credit, yes, both are money. अब ये question क्यों arise हुआ? ये इसलिए arise हुआ because Odisha High Court का judgment आया था in case of Jyoti Construction. In that, they said क्योंकि 3B नहीं आई थी, matching concept नहीं आया था, तो वो कहते थे ये provisional credit आपको allow है. So hence this provisional credit can be used to make the payment of only output tax. आप इसको use नहीं कर सकते in order to make the pre-deposit. This was judgment that came in the year 2021 by the Odisha High Court in case of Jyoti Construction. After that, और sir बहुत appeals reject हुई हैं, बहुत जगह पे courts ने कहा है कि this will not be entertained because there is no pre-deposit being made. Then the government came up with the circular 172/22, which says that it is clarified that any payment towards the output tax, whether self-assessed or as a consequence of any proceedings, electronic credit ledger can be used. Not for reverse charge, but for other taxes it can be used. Still, there was a hint of doubt. Then came amendment in section 41 through the budget, which budget 2022, which got notified on 1/10/2022, और उन्होंने इस प्रोविजनल क्रेडिट के कॉन्सेप्ट को ही खत्म कर दिया और बोला एवरी रजिस्टर्ड पर्सन, देखो पहले क्या था, शेल बी क्रेडिटेड ऑन प्रोविजनल बेसिस टू हिज इलेक्ट्रॉनिक क्रेडिट लेजर, शेल बी यूटिलाइज्ड ओनली फॉर पेमेंट ऑफ सेल्फ असेस्ड टैक्स. अब आप सबने यस आंसर तो दिया, बट व्हाट हैज बीन द बैकग्राउंड? ज्योति कंस्ट्रक्शन का केस, सेक्शन 41 which was referring to provisional basis credit can be used only for the payment of self assessed. Through this budget it was removed and they said every registered person shall, as per the conditions prescribed, be entitled to avail. Now there is no talk about the provisional credit. In his return, at such amount shall be credited to his electronic credit ledger. Followed by it, we also got the judgment of OISIS Reality 2022 by Bombay High Court, and again Odisha High Court in case of Ranjan Nayak, which says that the pre-deposit can be made by using the electronic credit ledger also. So to conclude and sum up with the pre-deposit, yes, the pre-deposit of 10% is mandatory. The pre-deposit of 10% can be made through the electronic credit ledger. However, it is only for the tax amounts. The penalty, for the penalty, etc., the credit ledger cannot be used and hence to be paid through the cash only. Now, किसके पास अपील जानी है? सबसे पहले जब हम अपील फाइल करने लगते हैं, ऑनलाइन गई तो इट्स ओके. With whom we are going to have the hearing? So appellate authority is also defined under rule 109A. और सर दो appellate authorities हैं. The department officer does not give acknowledgement if you paid through credit ledger. पराग जी आप दे देंगे. If you will now pay through the credit ledger because there has been change and there has been a sequence of events, so now they are allowing. We have got two High Court judgments also saying the same. The section 41 has also been amended. Now coming towards the appellate authority, 109A rule says there are two appellate authorities. If your order is passed by additional or a joint, of course the higher authority, Commissioner appeals. If your order is passed by assistant commissioner or deputy commissioner, then any officer below, not below the rank of JC, the appeal goes to the JC. Right? So अगर तो ऑर्डर एडिशनल और जेसी का है तो कमिश्नर अपील्स के पास जाएंगे, और अगर सुपरिटेंडेंट का है, जो असिस्टेंट कमिश्नर का है, डेप्यूटी कमिश्नर का है, सो नॉट बिलो द रैंक ऑफ जॉइंट कमिश्नर. ओके, लेट मी आस्क यू वन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन. कैन appellate authority under section 107 remand back your case? Can they do the remand back? No, Ruhani. All right. Amit Bansal ji saying no. Somebody said yes also. Acha, Simran saying yes. Jay Thakkar ji saying no. Let's have a look. Appellate authority shall not refer the case back for fresh adjudication. They don't have the power to remand back. Right? So it is the authority that has to determine. They cannot remand, they can cancel, they can annul. Abhi hum dekhenge, they can enhance, they can modify. Right? हाँ, वैट में था, आज भी अमित जी वहां तो सारी अपीलें रिमांड बैक ही होके आती हैं. Right? Okay. Where the appellant has paid the amount under subsection 6, अब आपने pre-deposit कर दिया, so the recovery proceeding for the balance amount shall be deemed to be stayed. Deemed to be stayed. So income tax में तो आप stay of demand file करते हैं. यहाँ पे अगर आपने 10% deposit करा दिया, in that case the balance amount will stand to be stayed. Now coming towards the point. All right, Jayji. So talking about commissioner to direct any, now we are coming to the next part, 107 subsection 2. पहली अपील कौन कर रहा था? Aggrieved person. अब अपील कौन कर रहा है? Departmental officer. Commissioner on his own motion or upon request from the commissioner of state or union territory, call for and ask for that, okay, examine the records of any proceedings, adjudication authorities, and they may check the legality or the propriety of the, they can check the order from two angles, legality or propriety of the said decision, or 6 months ka time hai. Otherwise he will say to the officer subordinate to him to check whether to make the appeal with the appellate authority. Or sir, jo communication wo karega, that will be taken as appeal और उसका appellant ही माना जाएगा. So एक बार जरा contrast देखें. उधर फॉर्म कौन से है? APL 01, 3 महीने में 1 महीने का condonation. यहाँ पर 107.5 APL form 03 for making the appeal. 6 months is the period. Condonation again is 1 month. Pre-deposits are only applicable in 107 subsection 1. Pre-deposits are not applicable in 107 subsection 2. अपील जानी किसके पास है? सेम एडिशनल कमिश्नर, और वो पहले चेंज था, बट नाउ डेज दोनों की अपील एक ही जैसे ऑफिसर के पास जानी है. अमित जी ये तो मत पूछिए. श्रीराम जी, आई कम टू योर पॉइंट फॉर इंटरेस्ट इन द कमिंग वन. अमित जी, डिपार्टमेंट को टाइम भी 6 महीने मिलता है, डिपार्टमेंट को ब्याज भी ज्यादा चाहिए होता है. सो देने, वो पंजाबी च कहंदे ना, देन और लेन दे वट्टे होर हुंदे हैं. सो डोंट वरी. सो इट इज द डिपार्टमेंट प्रेरोगेटिव दैट दे हैव गिवन 6 months. The law gives 6 months to them and 3 months to the person concerned. Now coming towards this, moving ahead, if I talk about same amendment, sir, as say you have seen the amendment, I talked about certified copy to be submitted. Online hoga to nahi karna hai, otherwise karna hai. The same amendment is applicable in case of departmental appeal under 107 subsection 2. If there is online order being shown, no self-certified copy is required to be furnished. Now 107.1, 107.2 read with certain other subsections we did. Coming towards 107 subsection 8, appellate authority shall give an opportunity. देनी पड़ेगी. Principle of natural justice है. You have to give that. And sir, I will give you a number of case laws in where कहाँ पे जो आपकी adjudicating authority है, वो जब SCN issue कर रही है तो कुछ और कर रही है, और जो order pass कर रही है वो कुछ और कर रही है. Now coming towards 107 subsection 9, कितनी adjournments ले सकते हो? You can take in writing on certain reasonable basis 3 adjournments. Absolutely, Sunil ji. 3 adjournments can be taken. And the appellate authority, now 107.10 and 107.11. 107.11 is a very litigative section. We will discuss it at stretch. जिसमें मैंने आपसे कहा, क्या सर पता है क्या है? अपील पर्सन करता है अपने आप को सेफगार्ड करने के लिए. We go there that okay, the interest the person who is aggrieved must get some remedy. And if I say you, the adjudicating authority, the appellate authority has the power to enhance. So let's see what are the provisions have to say. 107 subsection 10 says, if there are reasonable grounds, it is not willful or unreasonable ground that some grounds were already omitted. हम वैसे भी अपील में लिख के भेजते थे, appellant craves the right to amend the grounds of appeal, add or amend the grounds of appeal, right? However, 107 subsection 10 also says, appellate authority के पास जब आप hearing के लिए जाते हैं, they can allow an appellant to add any ground of appeal not specified in the grounds of appeal, if it is due to some reasonable cause and was not willful. Now, coming towards the Amiji, I come to this. There are two case laws to this. Amiji, I will give you that. Now, coming towards section 107, subsection 11. Appellate authority. Please read verbatim with me. Appellate authority shall, after making such further inquiry as may be necessary, pass such order as it thinks just and proper, confirming, modifying, or annulling the decision or order or appealed against, but shall not refer back the case to the adjudicating authority that passed the order. No remand back. But वो क्या कर सकता है? मॉडिफाई कर सकता है. अब जरा फर्स्ट प्रोवाइजो पढ़ते हैं. फर्स्ट प्रोवाइजो में सेज एन ऑर्डर मॉडिफाई वो कैसे कर सकता है? एनहांसिंग एनी फी. एनहांस भी कर सकता है एपीलेट अथॉरिटी. अगर तुम, आप सबने आंसर नो दिया था मुझे, प्रोवाइडेड दैट एन ऑर्डर एनहांसिंग एनी फी, पेनल्टी और फाइन in lieu of confiscation or confiscating goods of greater value, reducing the refund, reducing the input tax credit, तभी कर पाएंगे अगर reasonable opportunity of being heard दोगे. So one point is very, very clear. Section 107, subsection 11, giving the opportunity to the appellant can enhance the fee, the penalty, can reduce the refund, can reduce the ITC. They can do so. But my question to you is, now let's suppose, very interesting case study I want to discuss. The adjudicating authority in its show cause notice touched upon two issues. Two issues. Sir, I'm coming to proviso number 2 also along with it. Right? Hiteshji, I am talking about that very proviso only that you are talking about. Can they step into the shoes of as an adjudicating authority? Now, be with me for a while. Adjudicating authority ne SCN diye on 2 issues. Issue number 1 और issue number 2. अब ये तो हमें समझ आता है कि ओके, issue number 2 आपके अगेंस्ट चला गया. अग्रीव्ड पर्सन पार्टी के अगेंस्ट चला गया, पार्टी ने उसके लिए अपील कर दी. इश्यू नंबर 1 फेवर में था. राइट? पहली बात, जो अगेंस्ट गया उसमें लायबिलिटी लेट्स सपोज 70 रुपीज थी. अगर अपील्स एपीलेट अथॉरिटी चाहे तो वो इस 70 को 80, 90, 100 कर सकती है. जो चीज ओरिजिनल शो कॉज नोटिस में कवर है उसपे तो दे by giving you a reasonable opportunity, by showing you giving you a show cause, by giving you an opportunity of being heard, showing cause against the proposed order, they can do so. Now my question to you is, let's suppose आपका केस रिफंड का केस है और शो कॉज नोटिस जो एडजुडिकेटिंग अथॉरिटी ने दिया उसमें भी बोगस बिलिंग का कुछ मेंशन नहीं था. Can the appellate authority can also make your enhancement, can also determine your tax short paid on account of bogus billing, which was not there even in the original show cause notice, which was issued by the adjudicating authority. Let's have a look on the second proviso. रूहानी जी, second proviso जरा पढ़िए मेरे पास. So जो अभी तेज जी ने कहा कि क्या adjudicating authority बनाया जा सकता है appellate authority को? Have a look. Provided further that where the appellate authority, अरे अपील्स वालों, अगर आपकी ओपिनियन है कि कोई टैक्स शॉर्ट पेड हुआ है, कोई रिफंड गलत हुआ है, कोई आईटीसी रॉन्गली अवेल हुआ है, नो ऑर्डर तब तक नहीं करेंगे टू पे सच अमाउंट और इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट अनलेस एप्लीकेंट को हम शो कॉज नोटिस नहीं देंगे फॉर द प्रपोज्ड ऑर्डर एंड द ऑर्डर इज पास्ड. और जो ऑर्डर पास होगा वो 73 और 74 के टाइम पीरियड में होगा. सो हितेश जी, क्या ये मुझे पावर दे रहा है, मुझे यानी एपीलेट अथॉरिटी को, कि वो उन ग्राउंड्स पर भी जा सकती है जो ओरिजिनल एडजुडिकेटिंग अथॉरिटी के शो कॉज में नहीं थे, प्रोवाइडेड 73-74 का टाइम पीरियड एक्सपायर ना हुआ हो और वो एक फ्रेश शो कॉज नोटिस इशू करे टू द रजिस्टर्ड टैक्स पेयर. There are two provisos. First is saying अगर आपने कुछ उसी का enhancement करना है, so reasonable opportunity दो. Second is making the appellate authority step into the shoes of adjudicating authority, saying thereby that if there is any proposed order where you are trying to touch upon the ground, you are increasing you are calculating the short paid tax, erroneous refund, you have to issue a fresh show cause notice, that too under the time period of 73-74. And this is nothing new. This is nothing new. If you say 107, it is by the adjudicating authority, it is by the appellate authority itself. They cannot remand back the case to the adjudicating authority. It has to be done by the appellate authority itself. And sir, this 107.11 is peri materia to section 35A3 of excise. If you can see the contrast that I have made between 107.11 and 35A3, it is, sir, Sunil ji, abhi we are talking about before the appellate authority, 107.11 we are referring to. Right? Yes, this is what the power, Amit ji, the second proviso is giving. They are giving, see, have a look. This section 107.11 is peri materia to the central excise section 35A3. That also says, again same, appellate authority. Here it was commissioner appeals. After making, can confirm, modify, annul. Confirm, modify or annul. Order enhancing penalty. यहाँ तो enhance कर रहे हैं. Order enhancing any fee penalty. Here, appellate authority. आपने पूछा कौन? Appellate authority is of the opinion where the input tax credit, no order. Appellate authority, तुम order pass नहीं करोगी until or unless you give the show cause notice under 73 or 74, that too under the time periods that are specified therein. And this was what the law previously existed in the central excise also. It means the jurisprudence of central excise section 35A3 will be equally applicable for 107 subsection 11 also. Yes, it will be a show cause notice within the time periods of 73-74. Yes, absolutely. It will be given by the appellate authority. So now, sir, in income tax also, I have made the contrast with central excise also and income tax also. In income tax, there is section 251. And now you see, there the judgment is different. This is जिस, और उसमें बहुत सारे judgments आए हैं कि जिस issue को AO ने टच नहीं किया, AO ने टच नहीं किया, उसको कमिश्नर अपील टच एनहांस वहां पर भी कर सकता है. एनहांसमेंट वहां पर भी हो सकती है, बट लॉट्स ऑफ जजमेंट्स हैव कम व्हिच सेज आप उसको टच नहीं कर सकते जिसका मेंशन एओ ने किया ही नहीं. रीजन सर, वहां पे उसको पावर असेसमेंट की कमिश्नर अपील्स को नहीं दी गई. If you will read section 251, it simply says, shall not enhance any assessment unless the appellant has given a reasonable opportunity of showing cause. That's it. एनहेंसमेंट वहां भी होती है 251 में, बट हियर देयर आर 2 प्रोवाइजोस कि पहले तो रीजनेबल अपॉर्चुनिटी देके आप एनहांस कर सकते हो, बट अगर आपको लगता है कि कुछ और चीजें रह गई हैं, और सर ग्राउंड्स भी वही हैं जो 73-74 में है, शॉर्ट पेड, erroneously refunded, ITC wrongly availed or utilized, in that case section 73 और 74 के टाइम पीरियड्स को कंसिडर करते हुए you're supposed to issue a show cause notice, and then you can even touch upon those topics. Of course, many of you must be of the view, and when we appear for the same, we can put it the principle also, principle of no reformatia in peers, which says that a person should not be put in a worse condition. A person, क्यों? अरे वो तो पहले ही एग्रीव था, वो आपसे एक रेमेडी लेने आया था, आपने ऊपर से उसको और एग्रावेट कर दिया. So, of course, many of the judgments have been based, but here the express power under section 107 subsection 11 has been provided that on fulfillment of 2 conditions, first, show cause notice, secondly, within the period of 73-74 time periods, if done, appellate authority, you can determine any tax that has not been paid, short paid, or erroneously refunded. Although the issue is very litigated, and still there are many things to come into it. Second proviso related to tax short paid, not paid, then proposed order regarding tax to be paid or merits of case issued. Right, Satish ji? Then proposed order regarding tax to be paid or merits of case issued. I could not get what you want to say properly, but my issue is this, that they have made to be step into the shoes of adjudicating authority by introducing second proviso to 107 subsection 11. If they fulfill these 2 conditions, they can go beyond the order even. Now, coming to the next point, 107 subsection 12, kuch nahi, writing में देना है. Appellate authority disposing of the appeal shall be in writing. Points determine करेगी. Speaking order होना चाहिए. And sir, many of the cases come out of it because बहुत सारे आज जो अपील अभी मैं डील कर रही थी, that was शो कॉज नोटिस किसी और पे होता है, ऑर्डर किसी और ग्राउंड्स पे आता है, ऑर्डर पास्ड आर नॉन स्पीकिंग ऑर्डर्स विदाउट डिटरमाइनिंग दैट व्हाट हैज बीन द रीजन फॉर रिजेक्शन एंड ऑल दैट. सो दीज लीगल ग्राउंड्स मस्ट बी कंसिडर्ड. सर, क्या अपील 1 साल में डिसाइड करना जरूरी है? द आंसर इज नो. Appellate authority, if possible, it is a recommendatory time period. कई जगह तो ऐसी है सर जहां 6-6 महीने 8-8 महीने अपील की hearings ही नहीं आ रही. The pendency is so long for 1 year even. So the appellate authority shall, where it is possible, a recommendatory time period 1 year का time period है. और अगर उसमें भी कोर्ट ने कोई स्टे लगाया है, ट्रिब्यूनल से कोई स्टे लगा है, जैसे कोविड में कुछ स्टेज लगे थे, that stay period shall be excluded in computing the period of 1 year. Appellate authority जो तुम ऑर्डर दोगी वो कम्युनिकेट होगा appellant को, रेस्पोंडेंट को और एडजुडिकेटिंग अथॉरिटी को. कॉपी जुरिस्डिक्शनल कमिश्नर को भी भेजी जाएगी. वो सबको पता है, इनकम टैक्स में भी वो पोस्ट ऑफिस की तरह है, यहाँ पे भी वो पोस्ट ऑफिस की तरह है. अगर श्री राम जी मैं पूछूं देयर आर मैंडेटरी टाइम पीरियड्स, द आंसर इज नो मैंडेटरी टाइम पीरियड्स. राइट. 107 सबसेक्शन 16, जो ऑर्डर पास होंगे they attain the finality, they are binding until or unless you are ready to file any appeal to the appellate tribunal or subject to the high court or subject to the power of revisional authority. Otherwise they will attain finality and will be final and binding on the parties. So we talk about the 107. अच्छा, एक चीज और बताइए. चलो, मैंने दिखाई दिया शायद, है ना. चलो वापस आते हैं. क्या अपील विड्रॉ हो सकती है? यस सर, ये अभी अभी इंसर्ट हुआ है. जैसे रिफंड का भी विड्रॉल इन्होंने इंसर्ट किया था, इसका भी इंसर्ट किया है कि अपील कैन नाउ बी विड्रॉन बिफोर, जब तक आपको शो कॉज नोटिस अंडर 107 और इशुएंस ऑफ ऑर्डर अंडर 107, whichever is earlier, अगर अभी नहीं हुआ है तो आप उससे पहले अपनी अपील, चाहे वो APL 01 में है या APL 03 में है, the same can be withdrawn in the form APL 01 or 03W. Right? Now, moving ahead, if I talk about after the appeal withdrawal, sir, jab interest, somebody from you asked about the interest. अगर आपने जो प्री डिपॉजिट किया है उसके ऊपर आपको 9% का इंटरेस्ट एज पर सेक्शन 56, अगर आप एपेलेट में, इफ यू विन द केस, इफ यू गेट द जजमेंट इन फेवर ऑफ यू, यू विल बी गिवन इंटरेस्ट एट द मैक्सिमम रेट ऑफ 9% एज पर सेक्शन 56. Some procedural points that can the appeal by the authorized representative? Yes. Until or unless your personal attendance is required, until or unless your personal attendance is required, you can, the person concerned can appear through authorized representative, which can be his relative or employee or an advocate or a chartered accountant, CS, CMA, a retired officer, if they are before the appellate authority or the appellate tribunal. Of course, अमित जी, उसकी पावर तो आपको इंटरेस्ट तो लगता ही है जब स्टे से पहले. राइट नाउ, इफ वी कम टू द अपील अंडर सेक्शन 112, अपील टू एपेलेट ट्रिब्यूनल. सर, एपेलेट ट्रिब्यूनल अभी बना नहीं है. Sooner or later we expect this there to come in this year itself. इसका फॉर्मेशन चेंज कर दिया गया है. 3 months का टाइम पीरियड है. और एक चीज और सर, GST में प्री डिपॉजिट की लायबिलिटीज आर वेरी वेरी हायर एज अगेंस्ट द प्रीवियस रिजीम. पहले सिर्फ 7.5% का प्री डिपॉजिट जाता था और 2.5% का और जाता था, टोटल 10%. सर, यहाँ क्या है, फर्स्ट स्टेज पर इट इज गोइंग टू बी 10%, and in the second stage it is going to be additional 20%, thereby making it to be 30%. और ये जो मैक्सिमम का कैप दिया है वो भी अभी यहाँ दिया है, subject to maximum of 50 crores each. So yes, a huge 10 and 20% pre-deposits that have been given. हाई कोर्ट और सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जाना है तो आपको टैक्स डिपॉजिट करा के ही जाना है. और अगर प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई से है, अपील टू हाई कोर्ट. चलिए देखते हैं, लेट्स सी दिस. 117 में वी अपील टू हाई कोर्ट. 100 अभी तो ये हायरार्की शुरू ही नहीं हुई बिकॉज द ट्राइब्यूनल्स हैव नॉट कम अप येट. लेकिन इन दिस बजट 2023 they have मैंने पहले बोला था, they are saying now there is consensus. अब उन्होंने composition of appellate tribunal change कर दिया है. Principal bench will be at New Delhi and there will be state benches in every state. Right? There will be 4 members at the principal bench. There will be 4 members at the state bench. Here we have president, JM and 2 TMs, one of technical members from center and state, and there we have technical member from center and state along with 2 JMs. I am not going into कि क्या procedural points रहेंगे for appeal to appellate tribunal, क्योंकि अभी तक ये start नहीं हुई है. But मैंने बोला था ना, बहुत हलचल है, ऐसी हलचल है. वो कहते हैं appellate tribunal आया नहीं, non-constitution of GST appellate tribunal. Okay, but फिर भी किसकी मिस्टेक है? गवर्नमेंट की. appellate tribunal अभी तक फॉर्म नहीं हुए, but still the persons are supposed to pay. सर, ROD भी इशू हुआ था, रिमूवल ऑफ डिफिकल्टीज, कि जब तक appellate tribunal नहीं आता, आपका पीरियड कब से स्टार्ट होगा? जब से उसका प्रेसिडेंट चार्ज लेगा. 3 महीने हम वहां से शुरू करेंगे, 3 महीने हम वहां से शुरू करेंगे. बट अगर अब nobody presented over there that okay, अगर मेरा पीरियड वहां से शुरू होगा तो मेरा डिपॉजिट भी तभी लेना चाहिए. But the answer is no. If you will see the various High Court judgments, the one right in front of you, Shapurji, Palonji and Company by Honorable High Court of Patna, they have also said that 20%. So you are supposed to pay and the rest demand will be state. Period तो तभी शुरू होगा when the person will acquire the chair. May it be president or states के case में states. But the pre-deposit of 20% will have to be made if you want to appeal to appellate tribunal. सर refunds के केस में जहां पूरी पेमेंट हो और अदरवाइज वहां आपको प्री डिपॉजिट नहीं करना है. कौन से केसेस जाएंगे? प्रिंसिपल बेंच, आपके पास प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई के जाएंगे, देन कुछ सिंगल मेंबर बेंचेस होंगे जिनके पास 50 लाख तक के केसेस जाएंगे और कोई क्वेश्चन ऑफ लॉ नहीं होना चाहिए, और बाकी 1 GM and 1 technical member. That will be the constitution. Now I want to talk about certain tidbits of appeals. Last 10 minutes to go for. So what are those tidbits? No pre-deposit in case of refund appeals. If online order, online appeal. If manual order, manual appeal. क्या memorandum of cross objections का first appellate authority पर कोई format है? There is no specific format. Income tax और GST की appeals में, my dear friends, there is a difference. Vijay Kumar ji, we can withdraw the appeal before passing of order or issuance of show cause under section 107 subsection 11, right? Okay, now income tax में जब appeal जाती है तो starting में हम सिर्फ grounds of appeal दे देते हैं, 30 days का time period होता है, and we file the appeal. Here we give the proper statement of facts, grounds, and the paper book has also to be submitted within a period of 30 days, and we are submitting those GST appeals along with the paper book itself. I to submit it along, when I file the appeal, I submit it along with it. First appeal can be by the department also. There is no pre-deposit waiver. Maximum 3 adjournments. 1 year is the directory period, and first appeal may be to the JC or additional or the commissioner as per who is passing the order. अच्छा, एक चीज बताइए, अगर ऑफिसर ने आपकी लायबिलिटी डिटरमाइन की, can online order not recommended, Amit ji? For online order, you must file online appeal. Appeal to be made to both CGST and SGST authority? The answer is no. No. As per the GST Act, the CGST officer, SGST officers are both empowered to pass the orders, and you have to file a single appeal. Right? और अगर officer transfer हो जाता है, you are again given the opportunity of being heard, because the Honorable Supreme Court and the law says the person who hears the appeal must also decide the case. So these were certain other pointers which related to appeals. और कभी-कभी हम incorrect authority पे appeal file कर देते हैं. अच्छा, मुझे तो पता ही नहीं था ये जॉइंट कमिश्नर लुधियाना के पास जानी थी या दिल्ली के पास जानी थी, और so and so. If an appeal is filed to incorrect authority, that does not mean the benefit is taken away. So it should have been remanded the case to the correct authority rather than dismissing the appeal. This has already been taken by order in revision dated 1981 that it should be forwarded to the correct authority. Now, sir, अब एक चीज और, प्री डिपॉजिट के केस में अगर तो आप प्री डिपॉजिट कर सकते हैं, वेरी गुड. अगर नहीं कर सकते, सो आप रिट पिटीशन में ही जा सकते हैं कि भाई प्री डिपॉजिट के अमाउंट को लेकर. अगर आप, और रिट पिटीशन में भी दो तरह से, एम आई गिविंग ओनली फॉर द प्री डिपॉजिट? अगर मैं सिर्फ प्री डिपॉजिट के लिए जाऊंगी तो मैरिट्स पे मेरा केस नॉर्मल चेन ऑफ एपेलेट में खुला रहेगा. अगर मैं मैरिट्स पे भी रिट में चली गई तो उसके बाद मेरे लिए एपेलेट रेमेडीज बंद हो जाए. So अगर कोई प्री डिपॉजिट का इशू है, that must be considered only and confined the writ only up to the level of pre deposit only. Please make it sure. और सर बहुत सारे ऐसे केस लॉज आए हैं जहां writ remedy रिजेक्ट की गई है because there is a hierarchy, proper procedure is laid down there. Please make it a point that the writ is allowed when there are certain breaches of the fundamental rights. On each and every point, the High Court does not entertain the writs. Now, while drafting the appeals, what are the points to be considered for the grounds of appeal? Kya? Jurisdiction. Order limitation period में है कि नहीं? Approvals लिए गए हैं कि नहीं? Speaking order है कि नहीं? Monetary limits. क्या monetary limits है? अरे 73, 74 की monetary limits circular number 31 में have already been given. Whether the same are being adhered to. What has been the mode of service of the notice? Orders issued which are beyond SCN. Nowadays, I have come across lots of refund orders that have been issued beyond the SCN. Whether the officer passing the order, so all these can be, don't worry Vijayji, the VOCA and CA Association is kind enough to share it with all the participants, right? And knowledge enhances by sharing. So don't worry, this will definitely be shared with you. So friends, what I want to, if you are drafting the appeals, what can be the grounds of appeal? The constitutional provisions, the time barring provision, reasoned order hai ki nahi, application of mind kiya gaya ki nahi, reasonable opportunity di gayi hai ki nahi, SCN vague presumptions or assumptions pe based to nahi hai, authority is other than the facts of the case. Authority is, uske upar koi circular to nahi hai. Is it directly covered by any circular? Is it the deemed acceptance of an appeal to nahi ho rahi? So all these can be the grounds of appeal. Proper opportunity as per section 75 subsection 4. Order must be a speaking order. Notice and order should be on same lines. One, sir, बहुत सारे orders ऐसे देखने पे आए हैं जहां starting में officers ने 74 में भी penalty लगाई और 122 में भी लगाई. One penalty for one default. Section 75 subsection 30. Retrospective amendment does not call for penalty. And 129, 130 के ऊपर तो बहुत सारे cases आते हैं. Please do check whether the DIN has duly been put in there or not. Otherwise, it will be treated as an invalid one. Right? These are the monetary limits that are given in SC as for issuance of SCN under 31 and 2018. Now, friends, I have given here the various time periods for 73, 74 also. But what I want to highlight here is, I just want to show you certain case laws. I'm not discussing fake invoicing. It was not the part, but just I put it that how penalties are levied in case of, in such cases. Now, let me come to the case laws, which I want to discuss with you all, and certain how we file the appeal. I think so you people know already that if you go to the My Applications, you can generate your appeal to Appellate Authority. Of new application you can make. What is the case of dispute? Classification ka issue hai, rejection notification ka issue hai, rejection of application of refund ka issue hai, fraud, profiteering related matter hai. All these appeal can be filed. Now, please be careful in filing the forms. Sir, many appeals have been rejected on the procedural grounds of wrong filing of APL 01. So when you put that, what is the dispute? Kindly properly put it. Then it will bifurcate into what is the demand created, what is the demand admitted, and how much you have to pay for the same. This is, I have shown here one format of appeal. Covering page we give, index, and this is very, very important. Very, very important. Means when you are appearing before the officer, your documents should be properly numbered. Even now, though, when we are going for online appeals, the para number should be clearly stated so that you can take the officer concerned directly to that point in order to avoid the rejections. The document should be properly numbered, the index should be properly given, and yes, don't forget to put the authorized representative and ask for the personal hearing, if that whether you require personal hearing, put the columns very carefully. These are all the procedural parts. And sir, many of the cases have come up where DRC 03 has been paid. Where DRC 03 has been paid in case of the जो mobile wing आपकी goods ले लेते under 129 या confiscate कर लेते 130 में. The right mechanism is let the DRC 07 come. That will, sir, कुछ लोग कहते हैं payment under protest. If you file DRC 03, there can be a question mark that is a voluntary payment. Always you can write under it that it is payment under protest. But the correct mechanism is say the officer to issue you DRC 07 and then pay against that DRC 07. So that you keep your right of appeal. Although we have got latest Punjab and Haryana High Court judgment also, where they says that even if the appeal, Samyak is the name, Punjab and Haryana High Court judgment by Sandeep ji. So it clear cut says that okay, even if DRC 03 has been paid and department has not taken the action or something, the right to refund remains. But the correct mechanism is let the DRC 07 come and then you respond to it, then preserving your right of appeal also, not covering it as an voluntary payment. See how we give briefs if issues of the case under dispute, the legal provisions, what has been the facts of the case, kya sequence hua, what are the different grounds of appeal. Your grounds of appeal should be to the point. Because on these grounds of appeal, you make your submissions. So then it should be without making any sort of repetition. And then the prayer, what you are seeking, what are the provisions you are adhering to. Friends, in this PPT, I have quoted here a number of case laws, like if your appeal relates to penalty under 129, the intent to evade hona chahiye ki nahi, clerical errors, circular 64, case mein, and all these are the cases that are in favor of the taxpayer, in favor of the assessee, that how you can, in 129 cases, you can represent your case, what can be covered under the clerical errors. Apart from it, many a times it has been observed. Ab kisi ne mujhse aaj pucha tha, kya ye valid mode hai service ka? I said it will come. 169 section of CGST Act provides for the valid mode of service of notice, which is email is also covered. However, there have been a number of judgments which says, including the Akash Garg case also, these are the judgments, which says that if Rule 142 provides for a particular statutory procedure to be followed, and if it is not followed, it is not valid. So you must adhere. Agar statute ek way batata hai that it should be uploaded on a particular portal, if there is the particular rule to deal with the same, that must be adhered to. Many a times it has been done that the notice and the order has been served on the truck driver only. He is not the owner. He is not the owner. So I put in the case law where you can also put on the ground that the notice has been served only on the truck driver instead of the owner of the goods. And this is the case law of Tane creation, which says the owner of goods was not afforded opportunity of personal hearing and no show cause notice as it was served on the truck driver. However, serving on the truck driver does not relieve you, does not dilute your remedy, your appellate remedy. You have the right to appeal. However, it is not considered as a valid service, has been considered as providing no opportunity, no show cause notice was issued. So these are the grounds of 142 which we can take. Or ye sari maine appeal se hi uthaya, which I put there. We also can put it, it has been served on the truck driver, right? And even if it was served by mail, they said that if there is a particular procedure, और आज मुझसे अभी एक point पूछा था अमित जी ने भी कि sir सर अगर तो ऑर्डर साइट पर अपलोड होता है या आपको फिजिकली सर्व होता है, देयर आर अ नंबर ऑफ जजमेंट्स. वन इज इन केस ऑफ गुजरात स्टेट पेट्रोनेट लिमिटेड versus UOI 2020. The citation is 9 TMI 427. And there is also one judgment of Navya. I give you that also. I have noted that down. Navya, yeah, it is in case of Navya Food PL versus Superintendent of Central Private Limited versus Superintendent of Central Excise, dated 27 to 2023, which says that the date of upload, the period of appeal will be taken from the date of uploading on the portal. Will be taken as from the date of uploading on the portal. Let me share it again once and let me conclude this appeal topic now. हमारी PPT भी गुम गई है, ये रही. Yeah. So talking about अमित जी, आपकी जो क्वेरी मैंने आगे की थी, मैंने दोनों केस लॉज आपको दे दिए हैं. सेक्शन सर्कुलर 64 के लिए कौन से केस लॉज आप दे सकते हैं, दैट हैज इंक्लूडिंग, एंड सर प्लीज मेक इट all these are either the High Court or the Supreme Court judgments with no reference to AAR in majority. Even 130 versus 129 also I have put in here for your reference, which you can refer to. And see, service of order of vehicle is not assumed that you are given away your right. And I said you, Rule 92, refund. Show cause notice issued on one ground, order issued on another ground. All these are the judgments which says that any such order passed in case of refund where adherence to Rule 92 has not been made will not be sustained, because the reasonable opportunity not being provided, it is violation of the principle of natural justice. And sir, one thing more, whatever are the refund time periods that are provided, क्योंकि refund rejection की appeals भी बहुत आ रही हैं other than 129. So उसमें you have the right to claim the interest if it is not done within a period of 60 days credited in your account. So Jian International is the judgment by Honorable Delhi High Court which provides for interest. Now with this I end up my deliberation, and these are the various APL forms which we discussed, the provisions relating to that, and what can be the hierarchy in GST, कौन सी appeal किसके पास कौन सी section में जाएगी. So with this I end up my deliberation for the day. Thank you so much to all of you for the patient listening, and over to you sir.
थैंक यू वेरी मच अंचल जी. ऑलरेडी बिल्कुल डॉट आपने टाइम पे इसको खत्म किया है. और
सर मैंने आपकी बात सुन ली थी ना, 7 बजे की वेट कर रहे हैं, तो मैंने कहा रोक के नहीं रखना.
कल ही पहुंच गए होंगे, मैं पहुंच जाऊंगा 10 मिनट में. तो विद दीज वर्ड्स थैंक यू वेरी मच. जैसे पहले हमने आज तक आपको सुना ही है, मतलब कोई चीज मेरे ख्याल में छूटी नहीं जो आपने कवर ना की हो इस टॉपिक में. एंड इट वाज ए डेलिब्रेटेड नाइसली एंड इट वाज ए वंडरफुल सेशन. आई विल रिक्वेस्ट शेफी मिगलानी जी टू propose vote of thanks to Anchal ji as well as Ashok Batra ji in few minutes, so that then I will conclude. Gaurav ji has also joined. Gaurav ji ko हाँ जी
go ahead madam.
No sir, please go ahead. I have done the introduction. It's on you.
आप आगे हो, आप बोलो जरा.
सर देखो, अमृतसर वालों को थैंक्स बोले, उससे ज्यादा ग्रेसफुल ये है कि ये इंटर रीजन प्रोग्राम चले. दैट विल बी बेस्ट पार्ट, क्योंकि अब मैडम नेशनलाइज से भी इंटरनेशनल स्पीकर्स के लिए लोकलाइज सिस्टम को आप थोड़ा ओवर पावर कीजिए. और आई रिक्वेस्ट अदर देन द आप शफी मैम को करने दीजिए.
शफी जी हाँ जी.
Okay, thank you Gaurav sir. Let's just make it more international, because she has become a global speaker. Right. So I think I can have a voice problem, so I'll try to do that. Okay, so thank you Anchal ma'am for wonderful deliberation again today. Whatever you have said वो imprint हो गया mind में. आप करवाते ऐसे हो कि दोबारा देखने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती. So it was a beautiful deliberation, and we are really inspired by the way you do it. So thank you.
तो मैंने एक चीज तो ऐड करना भूल गया।
Thanks to Batra ji also.
जैसे
It
जैसे
was
मैं
very
लिखता हूँ
nice
ना,
session to Batra ji too.
नहीं, जैसे जैसे मैं लिखता हूँ ना,
Okay.
बत्रा जी और ग्रीस जी, बोथ आर दी कॉम्बोज ऑफ कॉम्बो गुरु, मतलब इनकम टैक्स के गुरु और जीएसटी के गुरु। आंचल कपूर जी के तो
Right.
घर में ही कॉम्बो है, क्योंकि इनके जो हस्बैंड है रोहित कपूर जी, वो मास्टर है इनकम टैक्स के, ये जीएसटी के, ये इनका कॉम्बो है, मतलब
और
जीएसटी, और इनका पूरा कब्जा है इनकम टैक्स पे भी और जीएसटी पे भी। और दोनों
आंचल जी,
तरफ
घर में नींबू और
है।
हरी मिर्च वाले ना बाहर दरवाजे पे टांग के रखियो।
तो ये दोनों कॉम्बो घर में ही है। हमें वो गुरु तो दोनों जगह से ढूंढने पड़ते हैं, ये घर में ही कॉम्बो है। तो अंचल जी, वो जो एक पहले होता था
सर, इस
सप्लाई में,
कॉम्बो के प्लेटर आप ही हो। ये जितने भी कॉम्बोज आप बना लो, सब तो आपके प्लेटफॉर्म पे ही होते हैं।
थैंक यू वेरी मच अंचल जी। और जैसे लोगों की क्वेरी थी कि आपको पीपीटी अंचल जी की, और आपको इसका लिंक और सर्टिफिकेट, ये सब कुछ मैं रखूंगा अपने उस पे गूगल ड्राइव पे, और उसका लिंक आपको मेल के थ्रू, जिनका सर्टिफिकेट के लिए एलिजिबल है वो उनको मेल के थ्रू मिल जाएगा, बाकियों को बाई वे ऑफ व्हाट्सएप मीडियम मिल जाएगा। तो आप वहां से अपने सर्टिफिकेट भी डाउनलोड कर सकते हो, पीपीटी भी डाउनलोड कर सकते हो, और यूट्यूब लिंक तो आपको डिफरेंट वे से आपको एक्टिवेट कर दूंगा। इट वाज प्राइवेट, क्योंकि ये सर्टिफिकेट प्रोग्राम था तो हमने यूट्यूब को एक्टिवेट नहीं किया था, was recorded privately. Now I will make it public after some time. And
जिंदल
will
साहब,
share
मेरी भी एक सबमिशन है आपको।
हाँ
ये
जी,
मेरे को लगता है इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स ऑफ इंडिया, न्यू दिल्ली,
हाँ जी,
एक वहां पे ना कुछ सिस्टम बनना चाहिए जिसमें चेक किया जाना चाहिए पूरे हिंदुस्तान में वेबिनार होते हैं। तो अगर मैं हिंदुस्तान में वेबिनार होते हैं, उसका नंबर 1 वेबिनार अगर कंसेप्ट है, वो कौन सी ऐसी पर्सनैलिटी है, कौन सा ऐसा फोरम है वो चलाता है। मेरे ख्याल से हम जितने भी बैठे हैं ना, एक ही नाम बोलेंगे, अश्विनी जिंदल, अश्विनी जिंदल एंड अश्विनी जिंदल।
Sir, 500 बंदा था आज। At any point of time, I checked 487 people were logged in the Zoom.
गौरव जी, इसीलिए तो कह रहा हूँ, इसका एक नेशनल, हमें ना एक कोई जाते हैं, मेरी भी आरसी की मीटिंग है वहां पे 19 को, तो कोई ना भी ऐसा सिस्टम होना चाहिए, कौन सी पर्सनैलिटी जो ऐसा वेबिनार करता है। अश्विनी जिंदल के सिवाय कोई नाम ही नहीं सूझेगा आपको। एंड हैट्स ऑफ टू यू, सच अ वंडरफुल प्लेटफॉर्म, वंडरफुल वे ऑफ वर्किंग। और मैं तो हैरान होता हूँ, मैंने भाई को बोला, मैं क्या भाई, तेरे प्रोग्राम में तो बस सिर मत्थी, इसके सिवाय कोई जवाब नहीं अपने पास। बधाई हो बहुत बहुत।
थैंक यू वेरी मच। ये सबका प्यार है कि विदाउट सीपी आवर, और ये सब फैकल्टीज की मतलब वजह से ही है कि जो हम इतना बढ़िया प्लेटफॉर्म चला पा रहे हैं। तो आप सब लोगों के सहयोग से, प्यार से, मिर्चें तो मेरे को टांगनी पड़ेंगी बाहर, क्योंकि अदरवाइज ऐसे ना हो कि इंस्टीट्यूट वाले मेरे
मैं आ रही है जलंधर जी, मैं मिर्चा लेके आऊंगा, नींबू मिर्चा टांग लियो ना।
आंचल जी को जरूरत नहीं है, मेरे को टांगनी पड़ेंगी कि मेरे बंदे ने खींच के ले जाए इंस्टीट्यूट वाले। तो with these words, thank you very much. We will meet again on either 24th or 23rd after taking time from Guruji, कि वो एक सेशन रखेंगे 10B पे, जो हॉट टॉपिक है। और मेरे को मोहन जी ने बताया भी, दीपेंद्र मोहन जी ने, कि 10B के ऊपर चीफ कमिश्नर एग्जाम्पशन के साथ उनकी इतनी बड़ी डिस्कशन हुई है कि कहते मैडम आपने ऐसा फॉर्म बना दिया, मैं गारंटी करता हूं कि आप असेसमेंट हमसे करवा रहे हो कि वेदर रीजनेबल है कि नहीं एक्सपेंसेस, हाउ सीए विल सर्टिफाई कि जो एक्सपेंसेस किए हैं कि वो रीजनेबल है कि नहीं है, जो अपने रिलेटेड पार्टी को दिए हैं वो रीजनेबल है कि नहीं है। तो कहते हैं जैसे असेसमेंट करा रहे हो, आई कैन गारंटी कि आपका कोई भी ऑफिसर बढ़िया से बढ़िया दे दो, मैं उसको फॉर्म दूंगा, अगर वो भर दे तो मैं उसकी असेसमेंट करके आपको बताऊंगा कि सारा गलत है।
ठीक है।
तो इतना डिफिकल्ट फॉर्म है, इतनी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी आने वाली है, उसके ऊपर हम 24th को प्रोग्राम लेके आ रहे हैं।
यहाँ पे ना, यहाँ पे अमृतसर कमिश्नरेट उस पे ना एक बहुत जल्दी मीटिंग और वेबिनार करने वाले हैं।
और इंस्टीट्यूट का भी उनका वेबिनार छोड़ो सर, वो खाना पूर्ति होती है, तो हम इसको पूरा डिटेल्ड में करवाएंगे दीपेंद्र मोहन जी से। और दूसरा, इंस्टीट्यूट का भी गाइडेंस नोट आ रहा है, मेरी संजय से बात हुई है 10B पे, और बड़ी जल्दी वो भी आ जाएगा।
तो फिर हम सर, वो वेट कर रहे हैं उसकी, कि कुछ चीजें ऐसी हैं जो उनको भी क्लियर नहीं है कि उसको कैसे प्रेजेंट करना है। हमने लास्ट वीक मीटिंग की उनसे, तो दे आर वेरी सून द पीपल आर प्लानिंग अ फिजिकल मीट टू गेट द इन्वेस्टर स्टेक देयर।
इवन गौरव जी, जिसने ITR 7 बनाई है ना, उसको बोले एक बार भर के दिखा दे, मान जाएंगे तेरे को, एक बार भर के दिखा, वो भर ही नहीं पाएगा।
थैंक यू वेरी मच। वी विल मीट अगेन with Deepinder Mohan ji on the next seminar. Thank you very much.